All right. In theory, we should now be good to go. Um, we missed the first match. No. All right. So we're joining in a bit of an unusual time. It seems like Squad Zero has already won their first match. I joined a couple of minutes late, but incredibly, Squad Zero has already defeated Fujiyama, despite Charizard going into Solgaleo. So it seems like even when they're on the back foot, Squad Zero still takes the win. An incredible win from Random Ways. Oh my goodness. Alright, Random Ways has already taken game one before I even got here. Alright, Random Ways. Hold on. Game one. Random Ways. Squad Zero. Good. And let me just fix my face cam a little bit here. Just get that a little more. Okay. We're good. I'm just going to start the introduction again. This is the Sneaky Dragon, and we are spectating the incredible Squad Zero in another Global Gym Battles. Two teams, 5 players. Each player has 2 decks, and when you're out of decks, you are eliminated. The way it works is teams will send players forward, as one by one, their decks are defeated by their opponents until they are sent to the Shadow Realm when they are out of decks. Then you bring your next player forward with their 2 decks and you keep going. There's a lot of strategy. For example, if your opponent is fighting you with a Charizard deck and you've just lost one of your players, maybe the next player you send forward is the one who's registered with that Oricorio deck. You keep trying to counterpick. You keep trying to use your strategies and tactics in the decks you registered ahead of time with the players you registered ahead of time to counter your opponent and take the win. First to 10 wins it all. Alright, we're on game 2, and we are spectating Random Ways. Now, they won the last match using Solgaleo, so they are forced to use the same deck again. Random Ways will be using Solgaleo once more, and it seems it's a Morelull Solgaleo. So we're going to see some Shintak tech, potentially, to help draw the cards that they need. I'm very excited to see where this goes. Random Ways has got early Oak, and it seems they are fighting Charizard. Fantastic. This is looking pretty good. Just missing a rare candy, and Random Ways is good to go. Are they running double Charizard? Because I believe they were running Charizard in the first game as well. Though we didn't get to see that because I joined a little late. Gosh darn it. Alright, this is looking good. Just a reminder, there is a 10-minute delay, so I won't be able to respond to chat in real time. I do apologize about that. This is a very competitive tournament. There's a lot of prize money on the line. All the teams have required that when I stream the Global Gym Battles, I have to do it with a 10-minute delay. Alright, early energy on Charmander. You know, when you get to go second, you get that energy, but not the evolution yet. So we're going to see if Charizard comes online. A little scraggly at the moment. Scraggly. Random Ways has gotten both of their cotton plush balls of joy, but they still need the rare candies to evolve them into steel lions. That little flower on the battlefield has taken some heavy damage, but it does now get to evolve into Shintak. Shiinotic? And using its ability, it's able to help draw down the deck, will make this Professor Oak more likely to pull rare candy. I see Lily and another Morelull, but unfortunately, that's it. We're going to see Morelull plopped onto the bench. Now, the decision not to retreat it while it was a Morelull means you really need Solgaleo. I think Random Ways was counting on that rare candy to use Solgaleo's ability to retreat the Shiinotic. A little mushroom there. But Random Ways will be pulling double mushrooms. That's a lot of deck draw. which increases the odds that you get rare candy eventually. It just takes a little time. It's a very clever deck. I like this idea from Random Ways, using the mushrooms to help draw the lions. That's a sentence I never thought I would say out loud, but you know those mushrooms are fantastic for drawing lions. That's all I can say. I mean, you know, if it's 1,000 lions versus all the Pokemon are gonna win. They've got mushrooms that'll draw them even more lions. I bet they never thought of that, did they? Yep. Their opponents are stunned by my impeccable logic, not that they can hear me. They're trying to figure out what to do, so I take it to mean they do not have rare candy. I feel like lately Pokemon has been a kid in a candy shop contest. Whoever gets that rare candy first is golden. But if you come to the rare candy shop second, the candies find themselves to be a bit rare, and you're facing down a Charizard with a Pluff Ball. So we're rooting for Squad Zero to get their rare candy here. And Charmander plops in some more damage. There it is! We got the rare candy. Fantastic. But Random Ways is going to go for Illuminate. Draw some more cards from the deck. There's a Cosmom. We're going to see a natural evolution there, might as well. And a rare candy evolution. This is going to give them double Solgaleo. Random Way is not bothering with the second Illuminate because there are no more cards to draw from the deck. And Solgaleo is gonna use Soul Breaker. Wait, what? But you are Solgaleo. Why would you break yourself? Is that why it does recoil damage? Because it's Soul Breaker? I don't know, but either way, it does a ton of damage, and Random Ways knocks out that first card. And Random Ways is on fire right now, probably from knocking out a Charmander. You know, always use fire safety gear when attacking a Charmander so that you do not get set on fire. It seems like Fujiyama is hoping for that natural evolution of the Charmeleon here. And they just concede. They got nothing. Random Ways takes another win. Fantastic. Fantastic game 2 by Random Ways. Random Ways is just eating through Fujiyama with lightning speed. With lightning speed. That's just 2 games dropped already to Random Ways. I'm gonna update the score. Squad Zero is putting on a very strong showing with this Solgaleo Super Draw deck. It is performing very well and making me wonder if I should perhaps run this in ranked. Random Ways is a ready defeated player. What can I say? We joined what 5 minutes late, and they had already won game 1. Game 2 just completely destroyed. Random Ways takes that too, because of course they did. Why not? Random Ways is just on absolute fire right now. And Fujiyama's first member is just sent to the Shadow Realm. And I'm trying to read their name, but I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Admittedly, my kanji or Panza, I'm guessing since it's Fujiyama that's kanji. My kanji skills are not that good. I saw the symbol for moon, so yeah, I think. No, wait, that's Chinese. Ski. Right? Ski. I'm not sure. Yeah, my Japanese is not good enough. Either way, the first member of Fujiyama has been taken down already, only 15 minutes in, which is incredible. I've never seen this happen this fast before, and Random Ways is still on their first deck. This is just dominating from Squad Zero. I checked the chat, but I'm not even sure if we've had time for the chat to exist yet with the delay. Hold on a second. Let me check the chat. Okay. We are alive on Twitch. I'm just confirming that, and we're not live on YouTube yet, but that might just be because of the delay. I should be streaming to YouTube as far as I can tell. So, Yeah, we're not even live on YouTube yet. We will be in the past, in the future. The 10-minute delay thing is weird. But Random Ways has already defeated a player, which is just insane. It's absolutely crazy. Are they already on to the next match? Oh my goodness, they're already on to the next match. These teams do not mess around at all. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on, I said. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. OBS is not cooperating. Please stand by. I don't know why, but we're having some technical difficulties at the moment. I'm going to recreate my window capture object because OBS has slightly freaking out on me. And it has lost the ability to recognize Discord. Oh no. Why is this happening right now? Hold on. OBS, come on. There we go. Okay. All right. I do not know why that happened. We temporarily, OBS temporarily lost the ability to contact Discord. I have fixed it, and I am adjusting it on the screen so that we can see this battle. Apologies. All right. Ukai. I believe that's their name. The hiragana is very squished on my screen, but I believe Random Ways is fighting Ukai from Team Fujiyama. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. Not scrubbed at all. I don't know why OBS is giving me such a hard time today. It has been one thing after another with this program. But now we're on game 3, and the incredible Random Ways is combating Fujiyama. And it looks like they've started Shaman, which means they're just completely bricked. Random Ways already has a rare candy in hand, and with that Shiinotic, Random Ways will be able to pull the lion that they need and have that ready for next turn. Oh, the inhumanity, the Pokemonity, the Pokemonity. I don't know what to say. Random Ways has got their lion already. It is already pulling itself onto the field with that incredible Shiinotic pull, and it takes out Shaman and wins the game already! What is this deck? What is this crazy deck? Random Ways wins again! We just started watching the game and Random Ways wins again. That's 3 wins in a row. This is the craziest thing I've seen in my entire life. I don't know what to say. Random Ways wins again, instantly, without question. This is the biggest sweep I have ever seen. I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before, but Random Ways just keeps winning. Random Ways can't stop winning. It's like there was a winning contest, and Random Ways won that winning contest. I don't know what to say. And they're on to the next game already. Oh my goodness. Game 4. Game 4. I've got like this, on the left side of the screen, I've got like this giant blue thing where all the different games are supposed to go, and it's supposed to be a different row for each player. I might just have to put multiple rows for Random Ways. Random Ways is just gonna win the whole thing. I don't know what to do. This is nuts. I've never seen this before in Global Gym Battles. Never. Alright, Random Ways once again has the Morlul start. They do not have Shiinotic, and their opponent has Formosa. So this looks like it's going to be that Celesteela Buzzhole Formosa deck that we've seen. It's been very popular lately. It's a very dynamic deck, lots of options. It has a little bit of trouble with Silvally Rampardos, as I've noticed. Trying to run it in ranked and fighting Silvally Rampardos after Silvally Rampardos, but I'm curious to see how Random Ways will deal with this. Alright, Rare Candy's pretty good. That might encourage Random Ways not to play that Iono. They're probably thinking about it. There's also Mars in hand. Strong option, considering how many cards the opponent has. Random Ways Pokeball's another Morlul, probably not what they were looking for here. You really need the Cosmon Puffball to get started. We could definitely see Iono get played. Or Mars. It's a tough hand. This is a tough hand. This is the first hand where we've seen from Random Ways where there's some real thinking to be done here. If Random Ways just plays it out, then there'll be a sitting duck for Formosa who could attack the bench and the active slot at the same time. Interesting. Random Ways looks like they're gonna fight it out. Stampede goes online. That's only going to deal 10 damage to Formosa, who can very happily knock out both of the little mushroom pluffs at the same time. Just 20 damage to each. 3 turns, they're gone. I don't know about this. If I were Random Ways, I would have heavily considered that Iono, but I understand why they didn't want to. Their opponent had so many cards in hand that Iono would have given them just whatever they needed, but in this situation, I kind of feel like maybe Iono would have been warranted. I don't know, but Random Way surely knows what they're doing. Buzzhole also comes online. It looks like they were saving that because, you know, they could have played it last turn. Well, it's not like we've seen any Oaks. They've only drawn 1 card, so that means that the Fujiyama player was just sitting on basics in their hand, which is an interesting decision. As one of the reasons I was looking at that Mars card, but yeah, it was a tough start from Random Ways. Definitely a tough start. There's a Solgaleo, but unfortunately, no cause. Yeah, Random Ways is an incredibly awkward spot here. Forced to Iono away the Rare Candy and the Solgaleo, but you just have to in this position. You kind of just have to. Still no Cosmic Puff. Okay, the basic. Still no basic form of Solgaleo. Illuminate pulls it onto the field, but it's going to have to be a natural evolution because there's no rare candy. This is a slow and awkward start for Random Ways. A very slow, unfortunate, and awkward start. But Random Ways can start putting some pressure with Gentle Slap onto the Formosa now. Maybe get rid of it before it can take out the benched Mushroom. And hopefully buy Random Ways enough time to evolve into Cosmom and then Solgaleo. Yeah, that seems to be the only play here. Random Ways is all out of options. They've made all their moves, given it their best shot. I'm still a little curious why Random Ways put that second Mushroom on the bench. Keeping it in hand would have been another card to Iono later. It's possible they were worried about red card or something along those lines. I'm not sure if they have access to their opponent's deck list, but it's very unfortunate. Actually, yeah, I don't think they... Alright, hold on a second. The opponent's thinking. The opponent's thinking about this. They're powering up Buzzhole in the back. Formosa's probably just going to attack and do massive damage to the Mushroom again. Try to snipe it from the back line. Get that early prize point. I'm actually curious why the opponents aren't just instantly attacking. They probably have some cards in their hand that are making them consider their moves a little bit better. Because it seems like a pretty obvious attack here. You just attack the front, attack the back. KO the Mushroom next turn. Random Ways is not going to be able to save that Mushroom. That Mushroom is cooked and it's in the soup. It's delicious. Alright, here's Jump Blues and... ooh! They don't attack the Mushroom. Interesting. It's entirely possible that they're planning on some kind of Cyrus tech. Illuminate is used and we pull a second Mushroom. Random Ways immediately plays that Mushroom and then uses Illuminate. Now we're seeing why Random Ways put that Mushroom on the bench. And there's another Cosmog. That could be very handy in a rare candy situation later on. Random Ways deciding whether or not to put energy on the Cosmom there. A little bit worried about Cyrus or something along those lines. Solgaleo, in fact, that Pokemon's probably been damaged to the point where Solgaleo won't be able to survive Big Beat from Buzzhole, and that's probably Fujiyama's plan, right? To use Formosa to get everything into one-shot range from Buzzhole. Random Way still decides to put energy on it. It's probably going to take another attack from Formosa. We see, ooh, the Oak played. It looks like Fujiyama should have all the cards they need right now to finish their strategy. Probably a Lucimin in hand. Maybe another Celesteela, maybe another Buzzhole. Randomway's holding on to that Mars. The decision not to play it early, and the fact that it Iono'd back, I think Randomways is saving that for when the first Pokemon gets KO'd, hoping to use it to maybe knock away Lusamine. I bet that's what Randomways is thinking, because you really don't want Energy Lusamine to, like, a second Buzzhole, for example, or to the Celesteela, that it can Moonbaton you before Buzzhole comes online. Giant's Cape is played. That's actually a good option for this deck. I used to run Leafy Cape on this deck, but I think that the Giant's Cape is a better item. Mostly because you can use it on the Celesteela, like in this case here, giving it survivability against Solgaleo, as well as other Buzzholes. So Giant's Cape is probably a much better cape if you're thinking about running that Ultra Beast deck. We do see the second Buzzhole come out, and Celesteela looks like it's just online for the tanking. Wow, rare candy. Illuminate is played. That's going to pull a second Solgaleo, so we're probably going to see a double evolution here. Randomways now has all of their Pokemon in hand. I wonder what Randomways is thinking about in this situation. From my perspective, it seems pretty obvious. You go for the double evolution. You put the energy on your Solgaleo, you send it out, and you start swinging. I guess the one question you want to ask is, do you play Sabrina or Mars? But I think definitely Sabrina in this case. I don't think you particularly want to hit Celesteela, but honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, if you do Sabrina, the opponent just brings out their Buzzhole that doesn't have any energy, though it could still be good to damage that, because you don't want that thing at full health later. Yeah, I bet this is what they're considering, and I bet they go for the Sabrina. Randomways is clicking on it. Randomways is thinking about it. Randomways is like, oh yeah, that's Sabrina, but the team is talking about it. They only got 20 seconds left, and they don't have enough time left. They don't have enough time left. They actually ran out of time. They wouldn't have been able to both Sabrina and use Solgaleo's active and attack. You gotta know how long these things take. They wouldn't have had enough time for that. So Solgaleo did not move forward, and Shiinotic is just on the bench, kind of a sitting duck right now. We could see Big Buzz come in and just punch it to defeat, and it's gone. Mushroom's gone, just punched by a big bug, you know. Bugs are a real problem for these mushrooms. You gotta use pesticide, which is why the new Pokemon Repel Spray has been introduced. Try Repel in your deck today if you're having trouble with unruly Buzzholes. This has been brought to you by the Pokemon Pesticide Company. I am just joking, by the way. There was a new Repel card introduced, and it looks like bug spray. There is no Pokemon Pesticides Company, to my knowledge. That was a joke. Alright, sure enough, Buzzhole is going to come online. Oh, Leafy Cape. Extra beefy. Wow, they're running dual cape on this. I would have run just 2 Giants Cape, but they're running dual cape. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Mushroom's taken out. I think they just delayed a little bit too long. I would have liked to have seen Solgaleo just go in and start swinging. But it looks like they wanted to do it this way with a full health Solgaleo, even at the risk of losing a Mushroom. Maybe their plan is to cycle Solgaleos. And there's the Mars. It's a little early to play it, I think, because Lusamine would happen next turn, not this turn, because you haven't KO'd anything yet. So yeah, I think it's a little bit early to play that Mars. But Randomways is the GOAT. Surely they know better than I do. Because what I'm thinking is you didn't KO anything this turn, right? So you're giving the opponent the chance to draw back, and they'll probably have Lusamine by the time you do KO something. Now, it might not matter, though. Yeah, the opponent's got a bit of a choice. They haven't lost any Pokemon yet. Because Randomways had that slow start, right? Slower than a Regigigas. They had trouble drawing them Pokemon. It's only thanks to the incredible Shiinotic strategy that Randomways got online at all, but it was still heavily delayed. And because of those delays, there are no Pokemon KO'd yet. And because there's no Pokemon KO'd, yeah, it looks like they're just going to use the retreat tech to refresh Big Beat. Just go in for 120 damage on Solgaleo and put some energy on the other one, hoping that it'll get there in time or they'll draw Lusamine. This is why I feel like Randomway should have played Mars this turn, not next turn. But yeah, because the opponent's got 3 cards in their hand, right? It would have been better to knock them this turn, I think. But maybe Randomways was trying to preempt Oak or Pokeball or something along those lines. That's possible. Alright, Randomways is going to use Rising Road to bring their tankier Solgaleo to the front. They just can't afford to lose a Solgaleo here. Big risk of getting Cyrus, but there's nothing you can do. And the Buzzhole deck doesn't always run Cyrus. It does, though. It usually runs 2 Cyrus. They might not have it in hand. This is why I would have played Mars this turn. Because Lusamine is scary. Mars is scary. I don't know if Randomways is running red. Trainer card red, but... yeah, this isn't looking so good for Randomways. The only way Randomways can win is if, 1, they don't draw Cyrus over the next 2 turns. 2, they don't draw Lusamine right now. If Fujiyama does not have Lusamine, Randomways can win. Do they have Lusamine? Lusamine right now looks really good. Really good for Fujiyama. That energy attach means they probably don't have Lusamine. But we could still see Punch get used here. Buzzhole just taking a smack at Solgaleo. And that would put Solgaleo in. Whoa, and there's the counter Mars. There's the counter Mars. Is that Lily? That's not Lily. That's not Lily. You need the Lily, because Solgaleo is directly in KO range. Is this Lily? No, it's not Lily. Randomways plays Professor Oak, but I don't know if there's anything that can save them. It's too late for Lily. One thing we could see is probably a retreat. Yep, sack in the mushroom. Called it. That's really the only thing you can do here. Is just sacrifice the mushroom and once again hope that Cyrus is not on the field. But they did have Cyrus. That'll be GG. And this incredible Solgaleo deck finally takes a loss to Fujiyama's 4th deck. It's their 4th deck from Igai. Wow, it's their 4th deck. Well played to Fujiyama. They'll be taking the win there. Gonna update the little scoreboard there. This is Randomways' first loss. Randomways has been on fire. But finally Fujiyama found a way to slow down this inevitable snowball of destruction that is Randomways. I'm going to update that. Game 4 will go to Igai. Hopefully I am transliterating their name correctly. From Fujiyama. By the way, for those who don't know, Fujiyama just kind of means Mount Fuji. Fuji is Fuji and Yama is mountain in Japanese. And they're already getting in the next game. I don't even have time to check stuff. Randomways is running a Silvally deck. It seems like Randomways is just running the best of ranked right now. Silvally deck is fantastic against the Buzzhole deck. I know this from experience, running the Buzzhole deck into a million of these Silvallies. I just eat everything. And running the Silvally myself into millions of Buzzholes and profiting. The Silvally deck is, honestly, it just wins. It beats the, it beats the Buzzhole deck more often than the Buzzhole deck beats it. It does. Because you get online really quick, you put on early pressure, and it just can't keep up. But it does require you getting Rampardos. I wonder how Randomways will fare without their mighty mushroom of infinite card draws. And I'm also curious what Randomways is built into this deck. Mars is an interesting choice. Because usually you see, like, I personally like red card on this. One reason to run Mars is just because, oh, and we're going to see an early Mars. But that's the reason I run red card, because Mars interferes with other supporters, but you usually want to play it turn 1. Randomways chose not to put the fossil on the bench, the reason being that they recognized that they would not be able to evolve into Cranidos next turn, and unfortunately their opponent got a Professor Oak off of the Mars. Lucky, right? Lucky. And a Pokeball. That happens sometimes. I mean, playing Mars was the right move. Playing Mars was the right move. The opponent did not reveal any basics, so they probably had Oak and Pokeball, or similar, in their hand to begin with. Or maybe they were bricked on supporters. It's hard to know. That's one of the things about these early Mars. I think someone needs to do an analysis. If your opponent has 4 cards in their hand, should you play Mars? Actually, yeah. We should do an analysis on that, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good video. No one steal that. Okay. Buzzhole is getting early energy. This is a very aggressive start. And Ultra Thrusters is going to keep it safe. So Randomways really needs to start attacking. Going first is a little bit unfortunate. You really want to go second with Silvally. If you go second, you get a hyper early aggression. You know, just boom, evolution, boom, damage. It's so strong. And the switch to Pheromosa also puts additional pressure on fossils. Sabrina's not going to be very useful in this situation. Yeah, this is an awkward question, right? Do you risk red card in Mars, or do you just evolve and not attack? I think just evolving is the right answer. Chip damage on Formosa doesn't do you any good. You'll one-shot it next turn anyway. Doesn't really make sense to play the fossil here, because you're not going to evolve it next turn. And Randomways has no Oaks and no Pokeballs. It really hurts to see Randomways brick like this after that incredible win streak. No, their opponent plays Professor's Research after Professor's Research. Oh, Fujiyama is getting the draws right now. To be fair, we didn't see what happened game 1. You know, we didn't see what happened game 1. It's possible Randomways was a little lucky too. It's entirely possible. Fujiyama gets the double Buzzhole. And is just one turn away from one-shotting Silvally. This is not good for Randomways. By this point in time, you really want to have a KO already. You really want to have Rampardos online. Randomways is just too far behind on their draws. I see Rare Candy, but it's just not enough. The most Randomways can do is play the Gladion here, and it would have been nice if they could have played that a little earlier to help with the drawdown. That's one of the reasons I don't like running Mars on this. I prefer red card. We see Brave Bunnies go down, and this is another reason that it really hurts to be behind on energy as the Silvally player if you don't have Rampardos. Because there's really nothing Randomways can do to stop Buzzhole from coming in, one-shotting Silvally, and the next Silvally will not be prepared in time. This is looking really good for Fujiyama. Even though I think the Silvally deck will beat the Buzzhole deck more often than not, when the Buzzhole deck gets 2 Professor's Researches and you brick, the Buzzhole deck is going to win. It's a fantastic deck, very dynamic, very adaptive. And that's going to be a big beat, knocking out Silvally in a single hit. I don't quite know if there's anything Randomways can do. I think you gotta put the fossil in first. There's no universe where putting Silvally in first wins you the game. Randomways recognize that. Yep, Randomways recognizes that. You either draw Rampardos right now or you lose. That's it. It was draw Rampardos right now or you lose. That's the only win con here. There's Rampardos, but did they get the rare candy? No! That's GG. It is no longer possible for Randomways to win no matter what happens. Trust me, I've played this exact matchup from both sides many times in Ranked recently. Randomways does not seem to want to surrender, but maybe they got cape. There's no way to... I don't know why Randomways isn't conceding, honestly. This is a game. Just hoping their opponent messes up, I guess. Oh, yeah. Refreshing big beat. Refreshing big beat. That makes sense. For a second there, I thought their opponent might actually mess up, but no. They're just cycling big beat. Yeah, this is we will narrate until the end, but I this is though this is more over than uh this is more over than Brock's chance with any relationship. I wonder actually is Brock's not in the new series of Pokemon, is he? So I wonder if that reference will stop making sense in a few years. Random Ways attacks might as well. I think they just decided never retreat, never surrender. But this is the end for Random Ways. A fantastic 3-0 opening, but not even the mighty Random Ways can defeat the mighty Brick. And Igai from Fujiyama, with their last deck, manages to take out the mighty Random Ways, bringing Fujiyama a little bit close, actually, in score. They haven't caught up to Squad Zero, you know, but they're catching. They're trailing now. It's not a runaway anymore. Well played by Igai. Well played. Buzzhole's a powerful deck, and Random Ways just didn't draw what they needed. Alright, Squad Zero is going to have to send out their next member, which means I'm going to have to minimize this window and spectate a different live stream. Let's just check the chat real quick and see what folks have been saying in the meantime. Hey, hello everybody. Hey, Kokomaro, how are you doing? Yeah, a 10-minute delay. Sorry, I can't say hi in real time. 10-minute delay. Hello, everyone. Fantastic games, fantastic games. You will hear me sing this out loud in 10 minutes, lol. Time travel is funny. iSalad! Yo, how are you doing? Oh my goodness. We've got the famous iSalad in chat. Alright, let me see if there were any questions. No repeat from Fuji is crazy, sending grass into Solgaleo, should have Ionoed. Yeah, it's interesting. It worked out, though. It worked out. A closed deck list. Alright, thanks, CapCaps. That's good to know. Def misplay, Leo should have been out there instantly. I don't know, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Sabrina was good. Turns a while. Yeah. They take a while on these turns. They take a while on these turns. Alright. I'm going to start spectating the next person. The next person is not ready yet. It looks like Squad Zero is still deciding. Sorry, I was reading the comments because there's a 10-minute delay, so I can only look at the comments between each game and heavily delayed. So that's why I'm talking to the comment section from 10 minutes ago. Just so you understand. Just so you understand what's happening. Meanwhile, Squad Zero is picking their next player. I mean, who can follow that up? Who could follow that amazing 3-0 starting streak from Random Ways? They got to pick somebody. They got to pick their next player, and it's got to be someone who can beat Buzzhole. I will say again, Silvally is a good answer to Buzzhole, but Buzzhole, as we saw, can beat the Silvally deck. Also, an Eureka Rio deck is a good option. You can only really damage it with Celesteela and the Formosa, which doesn't do that much to Eureka Rio, so if they're running an Eureka Rio, that could be a good option. But the fact that they're taking so long to decide hints to me that maybe they're not sure what to run against this. Yeah, maybe they're not completely sure what to run next. They're thinking about it, they're talking about it. I'm waiting for them to pick the next player. Just take a look at what chat is saying on Twitch real quick. Because I haven't gotten a chance to check the Twitch chat yet. It doesn't seem like anyone's saying anything on Twitch. Twitch is usually quiet lately. Alright, going back to the YouTube comments. Oh my goodness, YouTube is super chatty right now. Hello, YouTube. Game 4 B2 for Igai is Game 4-3. Oh, whoops. Yeah, let me fix that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I am fixing this 10 minutes later. Yeah, that should be game 4-5 for Igai. Thank you. Yep. Much appreciated. Past Sneaky, what are you on? I'm future Sneaky. Alright, we've got the next one. We've got the next one. I am watching stream and I'm bringing it online now. We've got the next player. Here we go. Okay, the next player is Alicornia. Alright, we haven't seen them yet. This is the first time we're seeing Alicornia, I believe. The first time I'm seeing them, at the very least, spectating these streams. Looks like they're going to be running a Charizard deck. Alright, they're showing off a little bit. They're showing off for the stream while waiting for their opponent. Master Ball player, level 50. I gotcha. Alright. It's a Charizard Incineroar deck. It seems like it's running one Charmeleon, no Tomcat. We got a Guzma, Double Lily, one Cape, Sabrina, pretty standard. One Iono. No Calm. Yeah, no, a pretty standard Charizard Incineroar deck. It's just a generally good deck. This can do very well against the Buzzhole if you get Charizard early. I've had my Buzzhole deck lose to this a lot. I've also lost to the Buzzhole deck with a version of this. So it could go either way. This is a deck that could win or lose. It kind of really just depends if you get Rare Candy Charizard on time. We'll see how they do. Since it's gotta be Igai, I'm wondering if Igai has the ability to use a replay token or not. We're just waiting on Fujiyama and Squad Zero to begin their game. If Fujiyama wins this, then Igai will have the same win streak as Random Ways, tying it up. But if not, Squad Zero will pull ahead with a 2-0 lead, which is very difficult to come back from. Like, if you got I mean, we just saw Fuji close a 3-0 lead, almost. But a 2-0 lead at this stage. The longer the games go, the fewer players you have, so the fewer counterpick decks you have, so the harder it becomes to close the lead. So Squad Zero really wants to pull ahead in the early game. That would be fantastic. It seems the code is Squad Zero versus Fuji. That's so funny. Yeah, SZ versus FJ. Yeah, reasonable code to use. All right, the game begins. Yeah, but Igai is top 10,000, top 1,000. Igai has proper brag badges. I gotta say, Igai has proper brag badges. This is somebody who makes it to the pinnacle of Master Ball every season. But I see a Charizard, I see a Rare Candy. Sorry, I see a Charmander and a Rare Candy. I just don't see Zard. We just need that Zard, and Squad Zero will be good to go. Ooh, Double Lily, that's not what you want. That's not what you want. Yeah, obviously you play Pokeball here. The only question is whether or not you play Iono. Immediately drops the second Charmander onto the bench. I might have held on to that. That would have been a good Iono target. Yeah, that was a very eager move, and they're pausing now, so it might have been before discussing it with the team. I'm not sure. Because you only need one. You only need one Charizard to win, and you really need that Charizard in this matchup. Like, the way this matchup works, you get Charizard early, you lose. Those are your options. Charizard can one-shot Buzzhole even with Leafy Cape. It can one-shot anything in that deck. There is nothing in that deck, no matter what, except the one I run. The one I run has some special tech. But most people, there is nothing you can do in this deck to survive Charizard. I do something silly in my Buzzhole deck, but we won't talk about that right now. Alright, switch into Celesteela to keep the Buzzhole nice and tanky. Not that it matters pretty much at all. There's no KOing either Pokemon, and like I said, Charizard will one-shot either one. But it helps prevent 40 damage pokes. Could matter, maybe. So switching to Celesteela is the right. Oh, they got it. Let's go. Oh, all right. Let's go. They got the Zard. They got the early Zard. This is it. This is. Look at that hand. Look at this position. Squad Zero's got the RNG back. Fujiyama had it for a bit when Randomway started bricking, but oh my, look at this hand. You can't even Mars this because there's only 3 cards. This is it's too good. It's too good for squads. I feel bad for Fujiyama. This is just not fair. There's no counterplay here. It's like I said from the beginning. With this matchup, you get Charizard early and you win. You don't get Charizard early and you lose. That's it. That is the entirety of this matchup. It makes me kind of a little nostalgic for Giratina Darkrai, because at least with I mean, you know, we're all sick to death with Giratina Darkrai, don't get me wrong. But at least with Giratina Darkrai, you know, there was always something you could do. There's always something going on. Some kind of strategy, some kind of counterplay. With this, it's, you get Charizard, you don't get Charizard. GG. Those are the only possibilities. Strictly speaking, I will say, it is possible for the Buzzhole deck to play around the Charizard. There's Sabrina tech you can use. You can have Lusamine to cycle Buzzholes to give yourself the ability to generate some counterplay. It's not over. It's not over, but... Okay, now it might be over. Yeah, you kind of need 2 Buzzholes to make that work. Or maybe Lusamine into Moonbaton could have done something, but... Yeah, no, you don't play Lily with... Do you play Lily? Actually, this is a good question. I don't know. The team's probably discussing it. Based on that wiggle. I like it when they wiggle the cards, because it kind of gives me some insight that the team is talking about something. the card wiggle of, should we do this? You know, whenever the team is talking about something, they wiggle the card, because they're like, what do you think? Should I do that? They can't hear me, by the way. I'm muted in their Discord. They can't hear me. That was funny. That was pretty funny. Alright, so with Formosa going down there, there's really just nothing... I wonder why they decided to do that. I'm curious what the motivation was there. Like, let's say that Buzzhole comes in right now. You win if Buzzhole comes in right now, so that's not a possibility. So let's say Celesteela comes in right now. You also win. Let's say Formosa comes in right now. It does another 20 damage to you. There was... I don't think they needed to play the Lily. The Lily was probably just to stop them from getting Mars to red carded next turn so that they still could keep this Lily. What did that do? What did that do, though? This is actually how I lost this matchup, because my brilliance decided to run this deck with Heatran, and then my Heatran got, like, beached on the active slot. Don't run this deck with Heatran. I tried funny things sometimes. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they work. I almost won the Ursaday with Yanmega because I decided to try Yanmega, and then it became meta after that. Because me and one other person ran Yanmega, and they did not have to fight the Gyarados. And they ended up winning that Ursaday. I'm still... Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so sometimes crazy stuff works, but Heatran does not work with this deck, because you just get Sabrinaed. But with Charmander, you just put the energy on the Charmander, boop, back into Charizard, boop, 170 damage, obliterated by the powers of Exodia, gone it goes. And this is gonna be GG. I don't, there's, what can you do? You've got a big bug. You've got a big bug, but they have a fire dragon. It's not, there's the Lusamine, but it doesn't matter. This is game well played to Squad Zero. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna tank it. That's the thing. Even Leafy Cape, even with Leafy Cape, it's not enough. The only way you win this is if they only have 1 Charizard or 0, and you double up the Buzzholes. Or if they just get 0 Charizards, then you can win it with 1 Buzzhole. But yeah. GG, well played to Alcorna. Squad Zero takes game 6 and pulls ahead with a very impressive 4-2 lead. It is going to be incredibly difficult for Fujiyama to come back from this. You have to consider that Fujiyama has already lost two of their players. Give me a sec. I'm less familiar with this player. I need to look at how to spell their name real quick. There we go. All right, let's see what chat's saying while we're waiting for the next game to start. Ursi has it 50-50. Interesting. Well, what are you guys talking about? I'm looking at the past. All right, yeah, the Sol Galeo versus... Wait, no, that's not live. Hold on, let me see. What are you guys watching? You're watching me talk, but I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, Silvally versus Buzzhole. 60-40 in Buzz? Interesting, interesting. Buzz favored 60-40. I've seen Silvally take that more often than not. Interesting. Yeah, no, because look, I have done this matchup so many times. We're talking about the Silvally versus Buzzhole thing. I'm talking with people in the past, funnily enough. Yeah, they're talking about the odds of Silvally versus Buzzhole. But I personally think that Silvally is advantaged. Because I've played that matchup many times in ranked, and I've won more often with Silvally, and I've lost more often with Buzzhole. Of course, either deck can win. It is close. I think it is close to 50-50. I'm not sure. We'll look at the statistics from the Ursi day. We'll look at the statistics. Maybe I'm playing the matchup wrong. Maybe someone else is playing the matchup wrong. Or maybe it's just, you know, maybe I haven't played enough game. Maybe like 20, 40 games with it isn't enough. I don't know. You know, it's Pokemon Pocket. You got to play a large sample size. Hard to say. Hard to say. But we're going to get into the next game. We're going to get into the next game. Looks like. All right, so Fujiyama has to put forth their third player now. Ooh, with that opening, Alcorna is doing pretty good. All right, we've got the Silvally come. What is this? What actually is this? Oh, that's just not fair. I don't look. I'm rooting for Squad Zero, but I kind of, if Fujiyama had a red card, I wouldn't be too mad. Legit, I wouldn't be too mad if they had a red card. I wouldn't be too mad. I'm sorry. This is just obscene. This is unfair. The funny thing is, though, because Silvally got first energy and heads, it's still a game. Fujiyama could still win this. Despite this opening, Fujiyama can still win. Yeah, Silvally is strong. Silvally is crazy. I'm seeing some doubters in the chat on Silvally. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. The best Silvally deck is crazy. I'm not sure if everyone was running the right version of this in Ursi Day. That might have been part of the problem. But the best Silvally deck is insane. Yeah, because this is the problem, right? Because Charizard got Alpha Striked and there's no Lilies, if Rampardos comes online, that's it. If they get double Silvally, that's it. Actually, double Silvally wouldn't help on account of the energy curve. So yeah, you need Rampardos. You need Rampardos. But if Rampardos comes online right now, that Charizard is looking... I don't know. I don't know. And that's the thing, right? Al didn't get any Oaks. They got one Pokeball. It's been one Pokeball apiece. You kind of want that, though. You got the Charizard. Don't let them get the Rampardos, right? But yeah, Silvally is scary. Silvally is scary. Alright, they've got the Silvally. That's fine, though. That's probably a little bit helpful for Squad Zero, actually, giving them the Oak they needed, but... if they get that Rampardos... Oh, there's the Cranidos. There's the Cranidos, so it's possible. Squad Zero needs a Lily. That's not Lily. Despite the on-curve Charizard, because they went second. Going second is a big deal. We might see a Calm to try to get Incineroar here. Yeah, you calm away the Charmeleon, and you either get second Charizard or you get your Incineroar. Okay, they got Incineroar. So Rare Candy evolve that thing right now. Probably. Yeah. That's the move. That's the move. That was needed. That was 100% needed. Because Charizard is going down once it takes out the Silvally. And this is why Silvally is so ridiculously scary. This is why Silvally is terrifying. Because it's about to go down, having taken out most of a Charizard's health. It's taken most of a Charizard out all by itself. And now this little dino is just going to poke it out. The Silvally deck could win this, despite the on-curve Charizard. It's not something a Buzzhole deck can do, by the way. Buzzhole deck isn't doing that. On-curve Charizard, Buzzhole deck is not doing that. Not unless you get, like, perfect double Buzzhole Lusamine cycling. Or, like, a Heads on a Moonbaton. It's technically possible, but it's very iffy. Generally, a Buzzhole deck isn't doing this, but Silvally can do this. That's why Silvally's crazy. Silvally is just insane. 2 energy for 100 damage. And the fact that you can do 40 damage on turn 1 if you get head. It's just... It's like you're running a Farfetch'd that suddenly turns into... What even does 100 damage? Nothing should be doing 100 damage. That's... I don't know. We might see Iono get played here, potentially. We might see Iono. Because they're probably doing a little bit of math and figuring out that the energy doesn't work in time unless you get really lucky with burn. Okay, they don't play Cape and they don't Iono. Little risky, but they got the burn. That's not good. You wanted that burn to stay on there and keep doing damage, because if that thing evolves... Uh-oh. Yeah, no, the burn heal on the Cranidos is big. There's the Oak. Did Professor research some dinosaurs? Is this happening? Is Rampardos coming online from Fujiyama? I'm not seeing it. Another fossil. It looks like Professor Oak is still researching fossils. Maybe a professor of archaeology, but not so much a professor of living rock dinos. That's good for Squad Zero. That's fantastic for Squad Zero. Because it means that there's no Rampardos in hand. So even the fossil on the bench probably won't evolve. Yeah, I have to say, Squad Zero got amazingly lucky this game. And Fujiyama bricked a little bit. Fujiyama's still almost winning. Silvally is crazy. Silvally is crazy. Literally, when I opened packs for Ultra Beast the first time, I didn't say, oh my goodness, I gotta play Buzzhole. I said, Silvally. That's the first deck I'm trying. The proof is on YouTube. That's literally the first video I put out for this series was Silvally, because I was like, this is the best card. It's so good. Alright, enough gushing about Silvally. Back to this game. So the Fire Cat finally pulls Double Lily, and that cape will allow it to survive a hit from a Cranidos. Super huge. Super huge. Sorry, a Rampardos. With the damage plus the burn, that'll be the end of Cranidos, and even if Rampardos comes online... Actually, if Rampardos comes online right now, I think it still beats Incineroar. Incineroar can only do 140 damage. Rampardos does 130. Rampardos would get to attack first. Yeah, if this is Rampardos plus Rare Candy right now, Fujiyama comes back. Does Fujiyama have it? Nope. They didn't have it. They couldn't draw the dino, and Squad Zero takes that admittedly RNG-induced win. I can't sugarcoat this. Squad Zero got incredibly lucky. But congratulations to Squad Zero, and well played by Fujiyama. You know, they were fighting an uphill battle. Let's be honest about that. Fujiyama was fighting into an on-curve Charizard, followed up by Incineroar. That was fantastic by Fujiyama. Very well played from the Japanese team. But Squad Zero is just rocketing forward. And you have to keep in mind that, you know, good luck will happen. We saw that where Random Ways bricked and Fujiyama stomped over them because they couldn't get the draws in time. We saw that right now with Fujiyama bricking. But what it comes down to, and yeah, Fujiyama also bricked during that one Random Ways match where they got Shaman. Let's be real. That Shaman match was very, very lucky by Squad Zero. But ultimately, I think Random Ways is very clever Mushroom Lion deck is the reason that Squad Zero is in the lead right now. We've seen good luck games, we've seen bad luck games, but I think that crazy deck design was big. That was big. I doubted the Lion Mushroom. I admit it. I was the Lion Mushroom doubter, but that was pretty impressive. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only been 7 games, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that means they still have to go with the same player, which means we have another game. Yeah, Fujiyama can't change members. They have to stick with the same player until they're out of decks. So we're going to watch... actually, who is this from Fujiyama? I didn't get their name earlier. Let me see their name. Name. Give me the name. All right, we'll see it when the game starts. It's hidden right now. It's in disguise. All right, so Squad Zero's Alcorona still has to use this Charizard deck because they won with it last time. It looks like they're deciding to put Charmander first, which is the right move. It's more likely to evolve than the Litten. Oh, are they using a replay token? The name is too blurry. I can't read it. I apologize to Squad Zero. I'd like to shout out the player's name, but it's just too blurry on the phone screen. Maybe I can see it on Discord. Hold on a second. Renta. Okay. What did I do? Renta. Okay, so Renta from Fujiyama. Alright, so it looks like maybe they used their replay token or something along those lines, because we're seeing another Silvally deck. Or the same Silvally deck. Or they were running double Silvally. One of those is reality. They're pretty sure Silvally can beat Charizard. I mean, considering last game, they almost beat an on-curve Charizard, and then followed with an immediate Incineroar with Silvally. I have to say that's a pretty safe assessment. I feel like Silvally should beat this. I feel like Silvally should win, right? So yeah, I think they made the right move playing another Silvally. That makes a lot of sense, but we'll see if the heart of the cards is kinder to them this time. This time around, though, Squad Zero does get to go second. They do get to start Energy. And that's a very big deal these days. It's always been a big deal in Pokemon Pocket. But in the Silvally matchup, it's huge because if Silvally gets first Energy, it has this crazy double turn attack where it hits you for 20, maybe 40 damage and then hits you for 100 next turn. But as you can see now, if they go first, they evolve and then they lose that early attack. They lose a lot of pressure, and it really slows them down. Another on-curve Charizard for Squad Zero. I feel so bad for Fujiyama. I feel bad for Fujiyama. This isn't fair. I'm calling Tauros dung on this one. Squad Zero, you're getting too lucky. I was on board with Squad Zero when they were doing crazy Mushroom Lion stuff, and I was like, okay, you're winning because you're strategic. But right now, this is pure RNG. Look at that crazy Charizard. Oh my goodness. All right. Fujiyama's not giving up. They're not giving up. They play Gladion. They're trying to pull another type null just to put something onto the bench. And they lost the coin flip. They pulled a Silvally, I'm guessing, instead of a type null. And that's game. Oh my goodness. Squad Zero just... I feel bad for Fujiyama. That was the on-curve Charizards. Look, Silvally can get on-curve Rampardos, right? That's... Well, it's not equally possible because you got to get the fossil. It's not a basic Pokemon, so it is less likely than the on-curve Charizard. But still! Oh my goodness. All right. Incredible plays by Squad Zero. You know, obviously they were very justified in picking that Charizard deck. It's incredibly powerful. You know, it is a very powerful deck. When you get Charizard turn 2 every game, it's a very powerful deck indeed. Oh my goodness. All right, let me take a look at what chat's saying, although the chat's probably not watching this right now. Oh my goodness. Hello from the future. Yeah, I'm just answering some YouTube chat stuff. So Fujiyama has to pick their next player. Basically, that's where we're at right now. Oh my goodness, wait, did they pick already? No, they haven't picked yet. Yeah, Fujiyama only has 2 players left. That's crazy to say out loud. They only have 2 players left. How is this possible? How does Squad Zero have a 4-0 lead? I'll tell you how. Random Waste pulled off an incredible opening, and then Fujiyama got lucky for 2 games. And then Squad Zero got lucky for 2 games. And now Squad Zero's massively ahead. Just, yeah, no, Squad Zero's luck has been better than Fujiyama's. I gotta admit here, Squad Zero has had incredible luck. I gotta call that out. They've had incredible luck this series. Like, they are so lucky. I don't know how to put this. It's like they took the bad luck from every Spiritome in the world and shoved it into a box, and then handed that box to their opponents, who then opened the box under duress. That's what happened. Like, Squad Zero was just too lucky with these crazy on-curve Charizards. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know what else to say about it. All right, we're going to get into the next game. So, Alcorona, who has not lost a single deck, by the way. This is their first deck still. Is once again opening with Charizard. Let's see, what do they have in their hand? That looks like rare candy to me. No Zard yet, but they're probably gonna draw it next turn based on how things have been going. Based on how this has been going, I would not be surprised if they just draw the Charizard next turn. I mean, that's how it's been every game so far. Oh my goodness. Alright, we see the Superhero Cape added to the Charmander, and they are keeping the second Charmander in hand for right now. If you're not worried about Red Card or Mars, that's the right thing to do. Fossil comes down from Fujiyama, finally. I'm supposed to be rooting for Squad Zero, but I gotta root for Fuji a little bit. Look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. Look at all the Charizards coming out of freaking people's pockets, just pulling out a Charizard. Here's another one. Let me take one out of my bag. I'm sorry, did you need a Charizard? I have 3. Have 5. I'll give 7 to you. There's too many Charizards. I gotta root for Fujiyama a little bit. So Fujiyama gets heads on their attack. Well-deserved heads. Fantastic. That was a skill heads. They earned that somehow. I don't know how, but they pulled it off. We're seeing the card wiggle of should I play this? The answer is yes. I mean, it's Pokeball. You should definitely play it. We see Pokeball get played. Litten is summoned, but there's no Zard. Incredibly. It's, I don't know, some sort of miracle that Charizard has not appeared on curve yet again. They're thinking about the Sabrina play. That would be so mean. Oh my, that would be so mean. Can you imagine? Oh, they're doing it. No. Oh. Fujiyama. Oh, Fujiyama. And there's the Foco Continuo. That's 20 damage of Foco right there. Oh my goodness. If they can't evolve it right now, they're gonna have to discard the fossil to retreat it. Professor's Research. There is hope. Fujiyama brilliantly plays Professor's Research, an incredible tactical move. I've almost certainly got Rampardos. Certainly. Close enough. Cranidos comes online. Silvally evolves, and Charmander will be going down. Well played by Fujiyama. You can tell that my allegiances have slightly shifted for the course of this game, because it's just been too ridiculous. Zards have just been too much. Cranidos does 50 damage to Charizamander, taking it out. Well played by Fujiyama. And it seems like Squad Zero is finally out of Charizards. Where are their Charizards, you might ask? Their Charizards have fallen through an Ultra Portal into the previous games in the past. That is where they've been coming from. All of those Charizards have been pulled from this game into those past games. Actually, I should make a comment. Oh my goodness, because there's a 10-minute delay. There's a 10-minute delay. I should make a comment about an Ultra Beast portal opening. Hold on. This might make the screen disappear for a second, but Ultra portal opening, lol. This will make sense in 10 minutes. Trust me. Okay, yeah, so there's an Ultra Portal opening that sucked in all of this game's Charizards. Can't play it. It's too late. It fell through an Ultra Portal into the past games, and that's why they kept drawing them in the past games, but they bricked this game. It's extra funny, because 10 minutes ago, they're still on the first Charizard game. I just typed that into chat now, so they're seeing that comment like, what's Sneaky talking about? Then they'll see this game and be like, oh, lol, time travel. Yep, the Charizards fell through an Ultra Portal. Let's go. We're making use of the 10-minute delay to make better content. Alright, Fujiyama takes the game. Well played to Fujiyama. I'm sorry, Squad Zero. I had to root for them a little bit. I had to root for them a little bit. It's just gotten too ridiculous with Alright, well played by Renta from Fujiyama. I'm gonna just update our little thing there, so that's game number 9. We'll go to Renta from Fujiyama. Hide that. Okay. Actually, wait, let me see that. Yeah, game 9. Good. Alright, so. Alcorna still has one more deck left. Alcorna's still in this. They still have another deck they can use to fight the Silvally. Yeah, Fujiyama's been running a lot of Silvally, and I think that's good. I think that's the right call. Silvally's OP. Silvally's OP. Honestly, that's what I'm running in ranked right now. Now I'm like on a, I don't know how many win streak. Like, I tried running Buzzhole, and I would win about half the time. My win rate was about 50%. I was like, I just like this. So I started playing Silvally, and now my win rate is positive. It's great. But everyone's playing Silvally, so it's mostly mirror matches. But as long as I'm slightly better, I'll win more often than 50%, so. Silvally's broken. Like, seriously, it is straight up broken. I'm waiting for somebody to find some kind of counter to this thing. There's like maybe a Giratina Rush deck that did pretty well against it. Maybe we'll see Giratina Rush come back to counter the Silvallys. I don't know. But Silvally is broken. It's just straight up broken. That card is OP. Oh, we're in the next game already. All right, let's pull that up. All right, Renta versus Alcorna. And it's Silvally, what a surprise. But, oh, Alcorna's playing what appears to be an Arceus deck. I don't... Can that beat Silvally? I'm not sure. Can that beat Silvally? Arceus. I mean, if you start Carnivine full combo, then yeah. If you start with the Carnivine, the Crobat, the Arceus, Carnivine does 50 damage, then you get an instant Crobat, sure. You could beat anything if that happens. But when you start Zubat, I don't... Alright, well, we got double Pokeball Professor's Research, so hopefully they will play those cards in the right order and get some better stuff online, because this is just not working right now. Darkrai? What deck is this? Arceus. Oh, it's not the Carnivine version. It's the Pure Darkness version. Okay, so this is Darkrai Crobat Arceus. Dark Solo Energy. God, I gotta... With Giratina. Oh, it's the Exodia deck. Or the Thanos deck. I forget which is which. I don't know. The streamers have weird names for stuff. Yeah, I got it. This is the deck where you play all three of the monsters. Back it up with Crobat. Yep, I know what we're doing here. None of that matters, though. Because just Rare Candy plus Crobat wins. Rare Candy plus Crobat wins. That's what's really going on here. If you get an on-curve Crobat plus Arceus, that's crazy. You deal 80 damage a turn, that's enough to one-shot a type null. Is just GG. GG. And if you don't want to risk the Crobat, you could retreat it for something else. You could retreat it for the Giratina, have the Giratina tank, then cycle that while you're doing Crobat damage with Darkrai. But yeah, this is... They got the full combo. They got the full Wombo combo. Squad Zero is on the luck train again. Next stop, whatever card your heart desires. This is some Yugi level cheating right here. I don't know. Does Alcorna have like the Millennium Puzzle hidden in their pocket or something? Yeah, Fujiyama is looking at this like, come on. You gotta think in Renta is like, this is just, I don't know. It's too much. It's too much. They got the full, they got Arceus, Giratina, Darkrai, Rare Candy, Crobat. What more could you want? Alright, they do get double Professor's Research. They gotta put energy on something. Okay. Alright, they're choosing to power up the back line. They're gonna sack their initial type null. Despite double Professor's Research, it seemed like they still somehow bricked. I don't know where Squad Zero's luck is coming from, but they should buy a lottery ticket today. I'm not advocating for gambling. You know, buying a lottery ticket is, strictly speaking, mathematically negative money. But I'm just saying that their luck is ridiculous right now. It's just ridiculous. Oh my goodness. You know what? More wholesome. They should pull some Pokemon packs today. Yes. That's a better statement to make. Now, Squad Zero does have a little bit of a choice here. They could give energy to the Crobat. They're not going to do that, though. They could have given energy to the Crobat and attack type null, taking it out. But they decided instead to just power up Darkrai. And that might be the right move. That could be the right move. Because if you don't attack, you can put more energy on Giratina. You can take that out for free with Crobat next turn, then retreat cycle into Darkrai and still get an attack off. So there's a lot you can do. So I think that was the right move. It's slow and steady, and you don't want to risk too much slow and steady against a type null deck, because they'll get double Granados and eat your face. But, I think it was the right move. It was a very patient, careful move by Squad Zero. And that's the kind of move I expect from Squad Zero. You know, I've been joking a lot these games about their luck and stuff. But this is more of the kind of Squad Zero play as I like to see. Not just the, lol, I win, Charizard, but very careful, considerate. I'm not going to attack this turn. I'm not going to go for the easy pickup KO. I'm going to prep for next turn. I'm going to make the right moves. Slow and steady. You've got 2 retreat costs. You're probably not going anywhere, right? Type null decks don't usually run Leaf. Just very, very slow and steady moves. Very, very careful moves. Should you run Leaf in a... That's an interesting question. I don't know if there's room in the type null deck for Leaf. It's really hard to find room for good tech. Because you've got to have the Granados, the Rare Candy, the double Fossil, the double Gladion, The Gladian's important for consistency. That's a really good card. You can get rid of some Pokeballs. I run it with 1 Pokeball. I've seen some people run it with 0 Pokeballs. But it's still hard to find room for tech in the Type Null deck. Alright, looks like it's going to go for an attack here. That makes sense. Good damage, and that will put it in range of the other Silvally if they need to. Oh no. Not Mars. Not Mars! Tell me it's not true. When did I start rooting for Fujiyama? I don't know when I started rooting for Fujiyama, but I've started rooting for Fujiyama just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Squad Zero is going to watch this later and be like, Sneaky, you betrayed us. And I'm like, look at the score. I haven't betrayed nobody. Yeah, but so Crobat can get a very easy pickup on Type Null here. Just knock it out. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. It's pretty free. It's pretty free. You don't even need to attack. The question, though, is what do you switch into? Yeah, Squad Zero is running the risk of running into time, because they still have to retreat, they still have to use abilities. They're at about 30 seconds, probably going into 20 seconds. They gotta make a move, or they're gonna run out of time and not be able to make plays. They could drop Crobat 20 seconds. Ooh! They take it out with Darkrai, so that Crobat could get more poke on the next Pokemon. Okay, do they have time, though? Do they have time, though? Crobat poke? Oh, this is brilliant! I didn't even think of this, but that's exact damage! That's exact damage! Why didn't they attack? What? Why set up the perfect exact damage if you're not gonna attack? My heart! That would have been so cool! It still was so cool. They almost timed out getting that 10 extra damage, and then they didn't take advantage of it. Squad Zero! What? Why do you have to play so gosh darn perfectly all the time? Just do a cool thing once in a while. No, I'm kidding. Play perfectly. We like to watch you when you play well. We like to watch you when you play well. Ooh, the Cyrus. And Cape. Yeah, caping there was the right move. I was thinking for a sec, should they have caped the Silvally, but no, because Darkrai does 100 damage. Yeah, this is actually not looking too bad for Fujiyama. They can still take this. Fujiyama can absolutely still take this. We're probably going to see Pokecom Arceus try to pull a Zubat. Yeah. Yeah. That's the move. Hope to get Rare Candy next turn, get some extra poke. They didn't get it, though. Wasn't good odds. Wasn't good odds, but had to try. We see Mars get played. That'll reduce their hand count to 2. Pretty important. You want to try to get rid of anything in their hand that might let Rampardos one-shot a Darkrai. Because if that happens, you just outright lose. Honestly, it might have been a mistake to power up the back Giratina. I'm not sure. But I think Darkrai should have attacked last turn. Because if Darkrai had attacked, that Silvally would not have been able to KO the Crobat. They would have had to have used Rampardo to do it, and then Rampardos would take 50 damage in recoil. I think Darkrai should have attacked. Yeah, they got Giovanni. GG. Fujiyama wins. Fujiyama wins. I run Giovanni in my Silvally deck too. It's a great card. Mostly for the Darkrai, and also so Silvally can KO Silvally. Good game. Yeah, no, I think Squad Zero just messed up. I think that was actually just a mistake, because if they set that whole thing up just so that it would be in one-shot range of Darkrai and then didn't attack with Darkrai. But Giratina didn't matter there, because if you knocked out the Silvally, Rampardos would have had to come in, and then even if somehow they had Giovanni that turn and KO'd Darkrai, Rampardos would be low. You know what? I'm thinking about it, but then how do you KO Rampardos? You still need Giratina to power up for a turn. But you've got Crobat poke. You poke down for 30. You've done, let me see, you've done 80 damage to it. It can't KO Giratina. So yeah, you win if you get Cape on Giratina. You win if they don't draw another basic, because Giratina and Rampardos knock each other out. Yeah, no, I get why they did that. I get why they did that. It's because they were worried about Giratina not having energy to finish Rampardos. But I still think they should have attacked. I think there might have been more universes where attacking would have been the right call. Either way, congrats to Fujiyama. Well played. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. That was a tough decision. They were running on time. They had to make a move. And they went for the careful, slow move, which is very typical of Squad Zero. But this is the one time I've ever said this. I think that after the fact, usually after the fact, I'm like, yeah, they were right. Yeah, they were right. I'm wrong. I'm being dumb. But this is the one time where I think after the fact, actually, nah, I think they should have attacked. I think they should have done the aggressive thing there. But who knows? It's hard to say. You know, hindsight is 20/20. After something's happened, of course, I should have done that. But it was time pressure. It was a tough decision. They used Mars to try to thwart the Giovanni. They were aware of the threat, and they still drew Giovanni. Well played by Fujiyama, that's all I can say. Alcorna, great run, fantastic. I'm sorry I was rooting against you a little bit there. Just, your lead was too good. Your lead was too good. Fantastic triple game winning streak. Major shout out to Alcorna for that. Alright, Squad Zero will have to bring in their next player now. I'm gonna check the chat and see if anybody got my wormhole joke. Oh my goodness, so many people are watching. What's going on? Alright, we're gonna spectate Plaything next. From Squad Zero. Oh wait, is this Connor? Oh, this is Connor! Oh, I got too excited there. It's Connor from the PLL! Yo, this is like one of the tournament admins of the PLL. This is like the PLL version of Ursi, basically. Yo, let's go! I think the PLL is actually run by a few different people, but Connor's definitely one of them, I think. This is awesome. Alright, we're gonna see Connor from Squad Zero in action. I am excited to see how this goes. Let's just check the Twitch chat real quick. I always like checking the chats real quick in between games, just see if anybody's saying anything I should respond to. Alright, looking good there. And we are going to pull up the next game as soon as it starts. It looks like they are typing in the code, so I'm going to put that on the screen. So this is going to be Connor from Squad Zero. Actually, wait a minute. I awarded the win to Renta. Was it Renta? Hold on. It might not have been Renta. Was it Renta? I think it was Renta. Yeah, Randomways took out the first player. Igai took out Randomways. Alcorn took out Igai. And the remaining player. That wasn't Renta, was it? We're gonna see in a second. I don't want to give the wrong player credit for the games. When the screen loads, we'll see if it's Renta. If it's not Renta, then I made a slight mistake. Okay, that's not Renta. So I need to fix that. I also don't know how to read that, unfortunately. So I'm not sure how to gosh darn it. Is that the number 4 or the symbol for West? I think that's the symbol for West, right? Yeah, that's West. But I couldn't get the second symbol. I'm sorry, my kanji reading comprehension is not that high. I can't. That was the symbol for West. But I didn't catch the other symbol. Let me see if I could squint and read it. Nope, not happening. Alright, let me just correct the scoreboard real quick. You know, it'd be really good if they could, like, give me the player names. We'll try to arrange that for next time, maybe. Because that wasn't Renta. Game 10. West. Fuji. Their name is not West, but that is as much of their name as I can read. I do apologize. I'm gonna just see if I could... It's too blurred on the screen now. I can't. All right, we'll join the Discord later. Maybe somebody can send me their names from now on, because normally I obtain the names using this really cool trick called reading, but that breaks down when I can't read the characters. I know some kanji, but not many. I'm barely at a first grade reading level in terms of kanji. 僕の日本語が下手ですけど、ごめんなさい。本当にごめん。That's hopefully Japanese. For my Japanese is not very good. I apologize. all right, so it looks like we're going to get a Buzzhole deck from Connor with Kartana. Very exciting. Very exciting. A Kartana Formosa Buzzhole deck. Now, Kartana's an interesting slot in for the Buzzhole deck. It's not part of the core deck, right? The core deck is 2 Formosas, 2 Buzzholes, and 2 Celesteelas. And the idea is you use Formosa to generate enough damage so that Buzzhole then comes in and sweeps, and you try to cycle Buzzholes. And then Formosa is retreat fodder for 1 Celesteela, or if you have 2 Celesteelas, then you don't need the Formosa. That's sort of the pattern, the play. Kartana is good because it can 2-shot type Null. It's good because it can put bigger threats on Darkrai. Actually, if you get to attack first and Darkrai doesn't have Rocky Helmet or Barb, you can take out a Darkrai before it can get to you, unless it heals. There's so many ifs in that statement that you don't really use Kartana against Darkrai, but you could theoretically in the best possible case scenario. Alright, Celesteela is good. That'll help with the retreating. Definitely valuable. Formosa has taken a ton of damage. We could see potentially the retreat into Kartana here, and we could see Kartana try to take out the type Null. But given that Gladion was played, it's very unlikely that they don't have Silvally. So 100 damage coming in next turn, almost for sure. However, yeah, showing off the Kartana. See, we're being spicy. We got Kartana. Heck yeah, I see you, Squad Zero. I see you. We talked about the Kartana. Don't worry. I got you. But yeah, Silvally's almost certainly coming out next turn. Without a doubt. And Leafy Cape will not boost its health above 100. So Kartana's probably going down after this attack. Meaning this attack is probably just not going to be that useful. Unfortunately. They're hovering over Erica, but Erica doesn't really help you when you take 100 damage to the face on your Kartana. Yeah, this is what I was talking about before with the Silvally deck. When it gets energy first, every deck likes to go second, except Executor. Every deck except Executor and a few other weirdos likes to go second, but Silvally really likes to go second. You put that energy on, and it changes its type to fighting type. It's got the, the Arceus discount whatever item that changes its type to fighting. Uses multi-attack or whatever. What? They didn't have a supporter card! No way! They didn't have a supporter card! Oh my goodness! Because Fujiyama couldn't draw a supporter card, apparently, or they couldn't play a supporter card, whatever happened, Type Null, Silvally was not able to do 100 damage! It wasn't able to do 100 damage, so Kartana gets to live. And that means energy gets to be put on Buzzhole. Kartana can attack again, or they could just tank with Celesteela. Why aren't they tanking with... huh? Don't you just... Alright, they're hovering over Lusamin as if to say, we expect this to go down, our plan is to use Lusamin. Respect? I get that. But still, why didn't you tank with Celesteela? I don't know. There is a legit reason for that. You don't want to make it a Cyrus target because you really need Celesteela to be able to rotate your Pokemon. And Celesteela is completely necessary if you want to use your Buzzhole later, because otherwise you can't cycle big beats. There's the Cyrus. So I get all that. I do. I understand all that in theory. and it didn't end up mattering anyway. But I don't know, I still think there's an argument to be made for sending in the Celesteela there. But, you know, Squad Zero, they're the pros. They're the pros. You know, they're usually right. When I disagree with what they're doing, they're usually right. Except for maybe that one time with the Darkrai attack. That would have been cool. I wish they had just attacked, because they built it up. I can't get over that moment. All right, so Quick Blows comes in. Oh, wow. Did Fujiyama just take an RNG chance to knock out the Formosa? They did. That was an RNG chance. Wow. But I get it, right? I get why they did that. They wanted to keep their Silvally safe on the back line. That was smart. That was smart. Yeah, there's not many cards in their hand. They figure it's either this or they lose. So they took an RNG chance, a coin flip chance, to take out the Formosa, and it worked. They got it. Well played, Fujiyama. That was brilliant. That was a brilliant play by Fujiyama. You got to think about this from their perspective. You got to think about this. They're a full player behind. They're a full player behind, right? Wait, Renta couldn't have won game 9 if West won game 10. I'm just looking at this. I think... I'm honestly not sure. I'm sorry, Fujiyama. I apologize. I definitely got this wrong. I've just had trouble reading the names a little bit. My Japanese reading isn't that good. I need to level it up. Alright, so anyway, Formosa is going to come in and attack here, and it's going to get a snipe on the Fossil. Yeah, that way Cape Cranados will still... Well, regular Cranados will still go down to Buzzhole. Cape Cranados won't. Cape Cranados can still survive. So just getting a little poke there. Might as well. You lost 1 prize point. Might as well take 2. You're not going to be able to get double Buzzhole this game. Good move by Squad Zero, trying to come back into it. Yeah, Fujiyama took a risk. Fujiyama took a fantastic risk there. And I think they did a great job. I think they did a fantastic job. Yep, they forced the Fossil to self-delete. Great move. That'll make it much harder to get Rampardos. Rampardos might not even come online now. Big damage coming out. You play Pokeball here, right? Play Pokeball here, right? I feel like on that meme where it's like that lady's like, you do this, right? You do this, right? Oh, and they got the big beats. But you still play Pokeball. Pokeball. Well, why wouldn't you play Pokeball? Are they saving an Iono target? Why wouldn't you play Pokeball? There's the Pokeball. Okay. Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was like, Pokeball. You gotta... Why wouldn't you? I wonder what you put Leaf Cape on in this situation. Maybe Formosa, so it can survive a non-supporter Silvally? But if Formosa comes in, they used a supporter. That's the thing. If Formosa comes in, they used Cyrus, so Silvally will be doing 100. Alright, Connor from Squad Zero picks up their first prize point. Silvally comes in, but it's not looking so good for Fujiyama right now. Squad Zero has the incredible power of Buzzhole, and they could just use Celesteela Retreat cycling to refresh Big Beat. I think most people are familiar with this mechanic by now. Yep, that's it. GG. Well played to Connor from Squad Zero. We'll be taking game 11. And this is going to put Squad Zero in a fantastic position. 7-4. It's almost impossible for Fujiyama to come back from this. Very difficult. Very, very difficult for Fujiyama to come back from this. It's possible. It's happened before. It has happened before. Let me see. Darkrai couldn't have attacked if they had Geo because Geo wouldn't be ready early enough. Actually, never mind. Ignore me. Yeah, it powers and then yep. Does he rent out loud like this the whole time? I want him to be my lawyer. Future Sneaky. Past Sneaky has been right a lot, actually. Thanks, Mobs. It's alright to call out misplays, you're doing great. Appreciate you, Toby. There doesn't need to be that much glaze. I mean, the thing is, honestly, I know I'm not right all the time. Like, there've been, you've seen it, you've seen my streams where I'm like, why'd they do that? That didn't make sense. And then 2 turns later, that's why they did that. That was so cool. Like, that happens a lot when I'm spectating Squad Zero. So I'm kind of just used to my being wrong. So I'm not glazing. I'm just, I respect from experience that Squad Zero does a great job. Though I do hype on occasion. I will hype. We don't glaze, but we occasionally hype, I will say. Speaking of hype, hyped for this next match, we got Kartana again. I'm not sure if the Kartana, I'm not sure if the Kartana is better than the Formosa standard or not. Because, you know, if you're running 2 Formosas and the Kartana's reducing the chances of getting Buzzhole, which I think is really powerful. But this situation is why you want Kartana, I will say. This situation, what we're looking at right now, when you're facing a Charmander, that's when you want Kartana. Because Kartana can 2-shot Charmander. That's something that Formosa can't do. Even if it capes, you still 2-shot it. Even if it capes. So for that reason, this matchup exactly is why I was thinking of running Kartana in my own deck. I haven't done it yet, though. I haven't tried it. I haven't had the courage to break from the meta of exactly 2 Formosas, 2 Celesteelas, and 2 Buzzholes. The meta. But yeah, Kartana does have some great pairings into this Charmander setup. Unfortunately, Connor is going first, not second. So we don't get to see the full scary power of Alpha Strike 40 damage from Kartana. I mean, thinking about it, Kartana is basically a better Farfetch'd. It's a Farfetch'd, but it can be super effective. Not in this matchup, obviously, but it can be. And it's an Ultra Beast, so it gets Ultra Beast tech. So it's basically a strictly better Farfetch'd at this stage, if you're paying attention. Which is crazy. They've finally introduced a strictly better Farfetch'd. Alright, 20 damage on Celesteela, tanking that very nicely. They got a second Celesteela. Red card. It's always so scary to play red card into a Char's deck. It's always so scary, because you never know, right? You never know. But since they Pokecombed, odds are they've got a good card, right? Because they Pokecombed. So that's a pretty good sign that red card's the right thing to play. Cape gets dropped on Kartana. I think we're going to see the Kartana attack. Literally, Kartana exists mostly for Charmander. It mostly exists for Charmander. And it can 2-shot type null under certain circumstances. It's rare, but it can happen. It can 1-shot fossils. So there are a lot of really good damage matchups that Kartana has right now against the Silvally and the Charizard decks, which are the most common decks. So I think it has a lot of potential. Though, of course, if they just evolve Charizard, then it's GG. It's GG. So we'll see if Fujiyama has the Squad Zero luck when it comes to Charizard. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if that happens. What did I say? What did I say? There it is. Charizard coming out from Fujiyama. It's Revenge of the Charizard. Charizard's like, you thought you were the only one who could draw me on curve? Well, Fujiyama can do it too! Alright, Fujiyama's got their Charizard. It is stoked to be here. That's going to be 4 energy total, and it will be attacking next turn. I heard someone leave the Discord the second I made that pun. They can't hear me, though. They could sense the bad pun, and they're like, I don't want to be on this Discord anymore with Sneaky. I don't even care if they're deafened and muted. I just can't exist with that pun. Alright, this is a very tough situation. There's no Buzzhole. There is a Lusamine, but there's no Buzzhole. The correct move in this situation, by the way, is to put energy on Celesteela and attack with Kartana. And the idea is that you Lusamine the energy from Kartana onto Celesteela, let Celesteela go down, draw another Lusamine, and then hope that you then get Buzzhole and Lusamine Buzzhole for the win. That's a lot, I know. That's like thinking 4 or 5 turns in advance, but that's the only win con here. Otherwise, you just lose. Otherwise, it's GG. Fujiyama wins. So Connor really needs to make that play. And they are making the play. They decided to use the healthier Celesteela instead of the damaged one. Could be good, could be bad. I'm honestly not sure. I can't count that in time. You're putting energy on the... Oh, no, they didn't put energy yet. For a second there, I was like, put energy on that Charmander. What's going on? Cape comes down onto the Zard, and it's got enough energy that it will be sending Kartana right into the graveyard. Ooh. Alright, I see hovering on Formosa there. I see a little Formosa hover. That wiggle. A little wiggle. But why would you send in Formosa? Don't you send in Celesteela? I think the play is you send in Celesteela, right? Send in Celesteela, right? Right? Yeah. They were wiggling Formosa, and I was like, what's going on? No, that's not the play. Yeah, you kind of got a Lusamine here. Oh, maybe that's why they would send in the Formosa, so that they could Oak, and they didn't need to Lusamine this turn. And then you finish it with Moonbaton. Huh, maybe they were right there. Maybe they were right. Well, they ended up doing the same thing I was saying, and it got Tails. So it's kind of a moot point. Yeah, GG. Yeah, that Oak draw was unfortunate, which is a rare thing to say. But the play they were going for, and the one I was describing... Oh, and Lily. Yeah, it's GG. First of all, it required Moonbaton to hit. But the idea was that you draw your Buzzhole, and then next turn you draw Lusamine. It's not likely, but it would have been possible. Yeah, with 2 prize points on the side of Fujiyama, I don't think Connor can get out of this. That Oak came in too late. If they had gone for the Formosa and then tech to Oak, it still wouldn't have worked because Charizard would have healed past the healing point. Yeah, so that wouldn't have worked anyway. So they absolutely made the right move with Celesteela. They just didn't draw the cards they needed. And that's one of the risks of running double Formosa with Kartana, with 2 Celesteela, and Buzzhole. You have more Pokemon to draw. This is what I was saying at the beginning. This is what I was saying when I was talking about Kartana. It's one of the big risks in doing this, because it's harder to get Buzzhole when you need it. Boom! Steam Artillery just swats that Kartana right off the field, and Fujiyama will be grabbing themselves another fantastic game. Hold on, I need to see the defeat screen. Wait, what's that character? I can't read it, it's too small. I'm just gonna ask. Hold on a second. What is their player's name? And I'm gonna try to see if I can get their name. Nishizawa. Okay. I think that's Nishi, not Nishi. Yeah, Nishizawa. Nishi West Zawa. Isn't Zawa River? That didn't look like kanji for river. I don't know. Alright, their name is Nishizawa. I finally have an actual name to update, so I can no longer put West/Wenta. There we go, Nishizawa. We got the proper name now. Alright. And that was game 12, I believe, which goes to Nishi. Game 12. And I have misspelled that. There we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was right about the character for Nishi. It didn't look like the character for Zawa. Is that a different Zawa? Zawa's this, isn't it? Just 3 lines. That didn't look like Zawa to me. I don't know. OBS is not displaying. Here we go. What is going on with the window cap? Hold on. OBS has decided to move it to the left for no clear reason. I don't know why it does this to me. I don't know why OBS does this to me. I really don't. All right, Nishizawa versus Connor. Game 13. This is exciting. Let me just check the chat real quick. Oh, no time to check the chat. I apologize, chat. Yeah, how is that the symbol for river? Is that a different Zawa? I don't know. I mean, it's got the I think that's a water radical. Yeah, right? You can tell my kanji is just not good enough. My kanji is just not good enough. 本当に I need to study more. もっと勉強します. Alright. Ooh, Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele Zone. Wait. Tapu Lele Zone? Yeah, since Connor lost, they gotta play with their second deck. But their second deck is not that good against Zard. Don't get me wrong, Tapu Lele can do 100 damage to a fully energied Zard, but if you're attacking a fully energied Zard, you already lost one of your Pokemon. You know what I mean? So Tapu Lele realistically does 80 damage to Zard and can poke it for 20 until it stokes. But that's not really enough. You need it to not heal, and you need to have a follow-up that can take it out. It's really, really hard to beat Zard with this. Early Professor's research from Fujiyama, they're clawing it back. Nishizawa is climbing for Fujiyama. Ooh, that Mars could help. But also there's an Oak. They've played an Oak, though. This is again why I like Red Card more than Mars in some of these modern decks. Because you can have this choice. Do I play Mars or Professor Oak? Mars is better late game, but it's worse early game. And it's a tough choice. If they play Mars, they can delete their hand, maybe stop an on-curve Charizard. Or create one. They have 5 cards in their hand. None of those are basics. You gotta be thinking there's Zard in there. Maybe you want to play Mars. But if you don't play Oak right now, you won't get Mag in time. It's a no-win situation for Connor from Squad Zero. No matter what they do, it's gonna be tough. They decide in the end that they want to draw cards, but they don't get the magnet. They don't get the magnet. It's really rough. We're going to see energy dropped on Tapu Lele. But without that Magnemite, it's going to be very hard for Connor to take this. Do they have Zard? I think they have Zard. They have 6 cards in their hand. Only 2 of them are needed for Zard. It's a Charmander. Okay. No Zard. Oh, full retreat into Turtonator. Do they have Kiawe? That's a Kiawe. It's going to be 2 energy onto the massive turtle. And it has just enough damage to be able to one-shot the Tapu Lele. Could have been prevented, potentially, if they played Mars. Then again, Mars might have just given them more Pokeballs, more Oaks. Who knows? Who knows, right? Giant's Cape will allow Tapu Lele to survive the Turtonator. Very important. And it'll be able to drop 40 damage on it, which isn't much, but it's something. The Charmanders are actually immune to damage from Tapu Lele until they get some energy put on them. This Fire Turtle is just gonna be able to start sweeping, and it's gonna be really hard for Connor to deal with this. Fujiyama's getting their groove back. Nishizawa from Fujiyama. Ooh. And Zard. Yeah. You know, you delay Mars, and this can happen. Unfortunately. But, you know, they had a tough choice. They had to draw the Magnemite. They tried to draw it. They still couldn't draw it. It was tough. It was definitely a tough opening for Squad Zero. Fujiyama basically has their ideal setup right here. They've got Turtonator. They just played another Professor's Research. Gosh darn it. Squad Zero's probably wishing they had played that Mars now. Probably wishing they had played that Mars now. Pokeball. Oh, Fujiyama. I gotta say, I feel like whichever team is playing Charizard just has crazy luck. I don't know what it is, but the Charizard decks have been popping off today. It's like, do you draw what you need? Well, are you Charizard? Yes. Then yes, you do draw what you need. Charizard always draws what... Oh, my goodness. It's because, you know, Pokemon's got to sell Charizards, so... Team Rocket, you know, gotta sell those Charizards. They're very popular. So whenever it's Charizard, you gotta get good luck. I mean, Meowth is basically a lucky cat, right? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. The only thing that Squad Zero can really do is pop some more damage on Turtonator, but Turtonator's not going down. It's just not. They're thinking of playing the Mars now, but you haven't lost any Pokemon yet. Why? Don't play it now. Don't play it. Wait for Tapu Lele to get knocked out at least. I don't know. Alright. That's 40 damage onto the Turtonator. And things are looking rough for Squad Zero. You know, Fujiyama's got their Fire Turtle. They've got their Darkness Dragon of Flame in the back. I'm going to refer to Charizard like that for the rest of this game, by the way. Just keep that in mind. That's what we're doing. Alright, second Turtonator comes down. I don't know. How does Squad Zero win this? Tapu Lele is about to get knocked out, right? The only thing that can attack is another Tapu Lele. And you need Magnezone. You kind of need Magnezone. So you're probably going to put the second Tapu Lele in now. I bet. We see the wiggle of inter-team communication. There's the Tapu Lele. Yeah, an unhelpful second Magnezone. They need a second Magnemite. The Magnemites are just buried. That's the problem. Putting more psychic energy unhelpfully onto the magnet. And Tapu Lele is going to do some damage to Turtonator, but it's a rough situation. It's a rough situation because I'm thinking 3 turns in advance, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting each player as a turn, I think Fujiyama wins in 5 turns. Fire Spin knocks out Tapu Lele. And this is incredibly awkward, actually, because Magnezone can't evolve this turn. If it does, it won't have enough energy to finish off Charizard. Now, finally, the second Magnemite appears, but it's a little bit late. You know, Squad Zero can only afford to lose 1 more prize point. We see Mars go down. It'll reduce them to 1 card, but I don't think Fujiyama cares. They have everything they need. The second the turtle goes down, the Darkness Dragon of Flame will come forward, use Stoke, and proceed to wipe out whatever's left. I don't see how Squad Zero is going to take this. Spinning attack goes on. That's the correct move. You could not evolve that turn. If you did, you wouldn't have enough energy to beat the Zard. Dang it! I mean, the Darkness Dragon of Flame. I messed up. I just heard 2 people drop from the Discord. They were disappointed that I did not refer to that card as the Darkness Dragon of Flame. They can't hear me, though, right? I am deafened, right? Yeah, I'm deafened. And there's a 10-minute delay. There is no humanly possible way they could hear me. Oh, no, I made the game disappear. Hold on. Fixed it. Okay. Alright, the Darkness Dragon of Flame is going to knock out that Pokemon next turn. There's really nothing Squad Zero can do. They're playing cards. They got Giratina. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. But they're making moves. They're generating energy. And we see the evolution, but without Cape, it just can't survive. It had to have Cape, and they had to use the Cape so Tapu Lele could survive. Really, there was nothing Squad Zero could do this game. They played well. They played their best. But the Zard decks, and Squad Zero has benefited from this. Squad Zero has benefited very heavily from the Darkness Dragon of Flame in the past, so you can't really, you know, you win by the Darkness Dragon of Flame, you lose by the Darkness Dragon of Flame. That's just the way it works. The win goes to Nishizawa from Fujiyama, and if I'm not mistaken, if I didn't mess up the scorekeeping, that is their 4th win. Is their 4th win? Wow. That would put them even ahead of Randomways' record. Fujiyama is starting to catch up. to Squad Zero, and PLL Connor has been eliminated. I didn't see that coming. I thought Connor was going to come in and start kicking butt. You know, I thought it would just end without Squad Zero needing to bring out anybody else. But Connor's gone down. Nishizawa representing Fujiyama right here. All right, I'm just going to check chat real quick. See if there are any questions. I don't see any questions. There, I've got a bot on Twitch. Let me ban that bot real quick. Ban. Wait, I can't report somebody after I've banned them? Oh, yes, I can. Hold on. Let me just get rid of the... Yeah, just got to report the bot so that they stop botting other people. All right, bot reported. I've made Twitch a safer place. All right, Squad Zero needs to pick somebody else to fight Nishizawa, and Nishizawa has been dominating. These Charizard decks are crazy. When they pop off, they pop off. I'm wondering if someone would try to enter one of these global gym battles with just Charizard. Nothing but Charizard. Just Charizard deck, Charizard deck, Charizard deck. And see if that wins. I mean, you'd lose to a single Oricorio, I feel like. But maybe? I don't know. Because we haven't seen anyone running Oricorio, right? I'm actually surprised. I thought more people would be running Oricorio, actually. Interesting. Is Oricorio not good anymore? Is it just not good anymore because of all the Ultra Beasts and the Silvally just stomping its face in? I don't know. I don't know. Who's Squad Zero gonna pick next? I mean, who follows up Connor? Oh, we got Donut. Let's go. We got Donut. All right, Squad Zero's Donut is coming up next. I'm going to put them on the screen. Running a Silvally deck. We talked about this matchup. We talked about this. You know what this is. You know what this is. Right? Do they get Zardon Curve or not? That's the question. That's the question. We'll find out. We'll find out. Squad Zero was in the reverse situation a little while ago, and we know how that happened. Oh, and they have to go first. That's not good. You want to go second. You really want to go second in this matchup as the Silvally. Going first is But Nishizawa taking a little bit to put that first Pokemon down. Alright, it's a turtle. It's a turtle, not bad. Oh. You seeing this? You seeing this? That's pretty good. That's not bad. That's a full set. You know? That's a full course meal. You got Fossil for breakfast, Cranidos for lunch, and Rampardos for delicious dinner. You've got a full evolution line right there. I don't know if it'll be in time, but that's not bad. Alright, they're thinking about which supporter to play, and it actually is a tough choice. If you play Professor Oak and get red carded, you will be very sad. If you play Gladion and get type null, you can put it on the bench and then you won't get red carded. But there's only a 1 out of 3 chance of that happening. They're going for Glad. But yeah, Silvally pull. I mean, that was the more likely result. It does help with drawdown, because now you can't get Gladion again, which is good, sort of, if you get red carded. So I still think that's a decent move if you're trying to be really safe. But Oak would have been the more aggressive option. Oak would be the, you know, I really just want to draw cards, and I'm going to bet you don't have red card. Against Charizard, that's a pretty safe bet. Charizard doesn't run as many red cards. Especially this deck, because it needs 2 Kiawe's. Alright, lots of Silvallies. We're going to see the evolution. Which is an interesting decision. I guess you kind of have to evolve there, though. Otherwise, Turtonator would just take you out. Yeah, it was kind of forced. It was kind of forced. You have to evolve there. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Because if they had been able to attack, which they would have done if they had gotten first energy. But then again, if they had gotten first energy, then the Turtonator might have been able to attack turn 3 with the Kiawe. So it works out. You know, it works out. Because Turtonator is one of those weird cards that actually does like to go first. Because you get Kiawe first, and then you're immediately sweeping on your first attack turn. So, not that bad. Not that bad. Not that bad. I'd say this is pretty even. You know, both players are getting their cards. Pretty even game. Pretty even game. It's weird. I'm used to one team just having a massive advantage. So I was like narrating it in that way. But I'm like, wait, no. This is a completely even game. Completely fair. I got nothing to say. Alright, Fire Turtle is online. It's going to do a solid 90 damage to Silvally. I'm actually impressed with how close this is. Squad Zero opened with an incredible sweep from Random Ways, but now Fujiyama is catching them. They're building back up. They're like, if we win this, we tie it all up. We got this. Now that cape is huge. That cape is stopping Rampardos from finishing off Turtonator. That cape is single-handedly a superhero that is saving this game for Fujiyama. Double Rare Candy is completely useless in this situation. And I'm realizing that I'm not sure if Squad Zero is running the optimal Silvally deck. I'm not saying my deck is optimal, but I'm realizing they're not running mine. There's some slight differences. I don't think they're running the same tech I like. Maybe. I'm not sure. Just wondering. At the very least, Mars is weird. Mars is weird. I get running Mars in a Silvally deck. I think most decks want red card, but I get Mars in a Silvally deck. It's just the problem is if you can play a good Mars because your opponent has 2 prize points in a Silvally deck, you probably lost anyway. The game is probably over. That's not how Silvally works. You win early. You know, you go boom with 100 damage. That's what you want. You don't want them to build up. You don't want to be able to use Mars. So Mars is weird in Silvally decks. And Silvally is going to go down. Rampardos is going to take massive recoil. It's a very awkward situation. I'm leaking some phone stuff there. I can't prevent that. The players are aware they're being live streamed. Alright, Charmander's got some fire energy. Yeah, Fujiyama's taking their time with this. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I would think they would have just attacked. I wonder what they're thinking about. Now, usually when the teams are thinking like that, it means there's something in their hand. I wonder what's in their hand. I wonder what they got. Man, maybe there's a rare candy, maybe there's a Pokecom, maybe there's an Iono. Yeah, Squad Zero must be thinking the same thing, because they're willing to sacrifice Professor Oak to play that Mars. That'll reduce their hand size to 2, making it very unlikely that they get... Should I still say it? The Darkness Dragon of Flight. Alright, we're going to stop doing that now. It's Charizard. Making it very unlikely that they get Charizard. They'll only have 3 cards in their remaining deck, and they really need the Zard right now. Otherwise, Rampardos is just going to step on their face. But if they get Zard right now, they probably win the game. Can Nishizawa pull that Zard plus Rare Candy right now? Incredible Professor's research. This could be it for Fujiyama. There's that awkward delay, the suspense. Do they have it? I need to know. Do they have it? The suspense is killing me. Do they have the Zard or not? Play Zard or surrender. Come on. Ah! Do something. All right. They're leaving us in suspense. They're leaving. Nishizawa is gonna wait. Yeah. All right. Yeah. GG. Oh. They're killing me here. I feel like I was just leech-lifed. Who played Kabutops? Because I've been leech-lifed. All right. Great game by Donut. Congrats to Donut from Squad Zero. They finally defeated the mighty Nishizawa. Whew. Those Zard decks go hard. I'm serious. Like, don't play it with Heatran. Learn from my mistakes. Don't play it with Heatran, but those Zard decks are good. Game 12. Donut. Oh, right. Squad Zero. I keep forgetting to put the team thing there. I guess it's just so obvious to me that Connor was on Squad Zero. I forgot to put the SZ there, but there we go, SZ. Wait a minute. I missed game 13. No, game 13 was Nishizawa. Yep, we're all good. Okay. Fantastic. So Squad Zero has eliminated 4 of Fujiyama's players. They only have 1 player left. And that means that there are really no choices. There are just no choices remaining. Donut has to use Rampardos again, and Fujiyama has to bring in their last player. So this is it. It all comes down to this. Alright, we're going to check the chat real quick. Alright, I don't see any questions. Final games. It all comes down to this. This is it. This is the final moment. Here we go. Will Fujiyama be able to come back? Or is Squad Zero just going to close this out? I honestly don't know. Fujiyama has shown an incredible ability to come from behind. Nishizawa with those 4 wins, that's just insane. Unless one of them belongs to Renta and I missed that, but I don't think so, because it was 9 and 10 in a row. Yeah, it had to have been Nishizawa. Hibinto. I'm just going to call them Hibinto, because that's as far as I got before the name disappeared. Oh, Silvally gets to go second. That's big. Donut is popping off. In other news, Castform reports that there's a chance of snow earlier today. I don't know, that is not true. Well, maybe it's true somewhere in the world. Oh, these have been some good games. Very exciting games. I'm losing my voice. I might have to stick to one of these per week. These kill my voice. And I gotta get me a co-caster for the PLL. Because I'm gonna, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be doing the PLL again. I think I need a co-caster. If Trav isn't available, hopefully Trav's available. If not, I gotta find someone else. Because this is, to do this for hours straight is murder on my voice. I don't know how Ursi does this for just endless hours. And Ursi's louder than I am. I gotta massage my throat here. I don't know, maybe I need to take one of those voice classes or something. Alright, so Silvally will be using Quick Blows, and that puts Celesteela right in the KO range, which is really good. You know, this is just I don't need heads. 20 damage. I'll KO you next turn, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We'll get you next turn. We'll get you. There's no escape from Silvally. It's so scary when this thing goes second. It's 120 damage over the first 2 turns of the game. 140 if you're lucky. It's crazy. 150 if you play Giovanni. In the first 2 turns. What else in the game can do that? Is there anything else in the game that can do 140 damage? Let's say 130 on average. 130 damage in its first 2 turns of existing. Even Staryu on Curve Starmie EX can't do that. Nothing else can do that. It's too powerful. It's too good. if you somehow got Arceus plus Crobat evolution, Carnivine attacks on the first, yeah, like if you got perfect luck with an Arceus deck, Carnivine attacks 50 damage, and Carnivine attacks again with a fully evolved Crobat, you could do that. And it would take Carnivine, Arceus, Zubat, Crobat, Rare Candy, 5 cards. It would take 5 cards to do what this deck can do with 3 cards. How did they do that? They were out of time. How'd they play that Formosa? Lightning fast Formosa. I guess they were hovering. I don't know. How'd they do that? Were they out of time? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, this will be a Gladion-induced Silvally, so that's 100 damage. It takes out the Formosa. If they tank with Celesteela, they're going to lose Celesteela, and then Buzzhole will lose its ability to cycle, so they're probably just going to sacrifice the second Formosa here. Yeah. Yeah, that's the move. That's a juicy fossil. But even more important is that Sabrina. I think next turn they Sabrina, because if you take out Celesteela, you can lock Buzzhole and make it very hard for it to cycle its big beat. Buzzhole without a big beat isn't much of a Buzzhole at all. Big beatless Buzzhole is a Buzzkill. Actually, wait a minute. If you combine Guzzlord... No, I guess that doesn't work. And I was trying to smush 2 Pokemon names together to make a pun, but it didn't work. Didn't work. Jump Blues. Okay, that you've got Lusamine. I'm in. Yeah, if you didn't put the energy... Sabrina, 100%. Sabrina. It's got to be Sabrina. You deny Lusamine and... What? No! Okay, I get why they did that, but I think that was wrong. Oh, excuse me. Okay, hear me out, hear me out. What Squad Zero is thinking is that they'll play Sabrina next turn and assassinate the Celesteela, but that's wrong. That's wrong. Because by KOing Formosa, you give Lusamine the ability to power up Buzzhole. Now Buzzhole's going to whack this Silvally. Yeah. That was a mistake. They should have played Sabrina. If they'd played Sabrina, they would have taken out the Celesteela. Lusamine wouldn't have worked because there would be no energy discarded. That was a huge mistake by Donut. That was a massive mistake. That could have been a game-losing error. I'm sorry, Donut. I love you. You're awesome. And the whole team, you know, the whole Squad Zero team probably chimed in on that decision. But it should have been Sabrina. I'm very quick on this because I've played against the Buzzhole deck so many times, and I've played the Buzzhole deck so many times. But you want to take out the Celesteela there because it'll deny Buzzhole energy, it'll deny it cycling. Okay, yeah, maybe they got the second Celesteela, so they could have still cycled with Formosa, but then, you know, they don't have energy, so then you get to hit Buzzhole twice. It only gets to hit you once. You have more time to make a play. Now, what can you do? You've lost your Silvally, and Buzzhole can just cycle and attack again next turn. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a really big mistake. They even forecasted that they had Lusamine by putting the energy on Formosa. The only reason they would have done that is if they had Lusamine. Yeah, this is all going to come down to whether or not they can get Rampardos. They have to get Rampardos next turn. Or Donut's done. Rampardos or you lose. That's what it's come down to. Had they instead done Sabrina that turn, Buzzhole would not have been able to attack. They would have gotten another attack. They would have gotten a free attack into Buzzhole. Then Buzzhole would have taken on that Silvally. Then this Silvally would have stepped forward, finished off Buzzhole, unless they got Erica. And you could have added Giovanni. And you would have had more time to react with Rampardos. And it would have been more difficult for them to cycle with Celesteela. It would have been just a better position. And that extra time could have earned you that Rampardos. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 98% sure that it should have been Sabrina on the previous turn. I will say this though, Squad Zero makes far fewer mistakes than I do. Like when I'm playing ranked, I make a ton of mistakes. I drop so many games because of obvious oopses. You know, they are so much cleaner than I am. Now, I just want to be clear. You know, Squad Zero is amazing, but yeah, people can let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong about that. But I think it should have been Sabrina on that turn. Squad Zero can still win. They can still win. They just have to get Rampardos right now. Got to get it right now. You've got Oak. This deck has great draw. So, not bad odds. Not bad odds. You just need 2 cards of the 3 you're about to get. Just need 1 card. Just need 1 card. Rare candy? Rare candy? Yeah. Good game. That's unfortunate for Donut. They just couldn't draw it in time. That's unfortunate. And Hibinto, I can't read that. Shimasu. Yeah, I'm not sure what this character is. But that was Hibinto Shimasu. I'll just put them as Hibinto in the text for now. Hibinto takes game number... I'm missing a game. Why did I put game 12 for Donut? That's just wrong. Let me fix that. Hold on. Donut won game 14 and Hibinto won game 15. I apologize. My Hibinto. Hibinto. There we go. Yeah, my left sidebar has been all over the place today. And that's another win for Fujiyama. They are once again very close to catching up with Squad Zero. I feel bad that I think that game could have been won by Squad Zero. I think this could have been 9-6 instead of 8-7. And that would have been just closed for Squad Zero. That was an unfortunate play. But, you know, mistakes happen. It's a team game. It's a team effort. There was enough time for someone on the team to chime in. You know, it's not all on Donut. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But we're going to move on to the next game. So, we got the Morlul Solgaleo deck again. This is the thing that Random Ways was popping off with. I'd like to see Donut pop off with this too. And they get to go second, which is good. You get that energy. They've got Rare Candy, double Pokeball. This is looking really, really good. This is looking really, really good for Donut right now. Donut on their redemption arc. If they win this, they're going off Sugar, changing their name to Bagel. Don't change your name. Donut is a hilarious name. I love Donut. It is a funnier name than Bagel. I'm actually surprised Fujiyama's stalling a little bit here. I wonder what they're thinking about. They got 5 cards in hand. Maybe they were worried about playdown, right? Because when you have a big hand, you're worried about Mars. You know, Squad Zero's shown that they have Mars. There's the Cosmog! Yo, there's the Cosmog! Great draws. You got another Morlul. You got the Cosmog. Just plop it all on the bench. Put the energy on Cosmog and wait for next turn. Very, very straightforward. There's nothing crazy to do here. You just wait for Solgaleo and start sweeping. Nice. Alright. Alright. Lions versus Ultra Beasts. Mushroom empowered lions versus Ultra Beasts. Yeah. What are they doing? They have like their entire deck in their hand, and they can't think of what to play. Buzzhole. Good choice. Quality option. Probably the right move. If they have Lusamine, which they probably do, I bet we're going to see the energy go on to Formosa here. Unless they want to try for a double Buzzhole cycle. That might be what they're discussing, Fushiyama. Okay, they probably don't have it. Yeah. The best case scenario for the Buzzhole deck is to go for a double Buzzhole cycle, where you get one Buzzhole set up, and then you Celesteela to cycle it out. It goes down. You immediately Lusamine the energy onto a second Buzzhole. That's your best case scenario. Wow. Okay, Squad Zero summons Exodia. Illuminate will pull another card from the deck. Yeah, it's good drawdown. It's good drawdown even if they can't play it. You know, that's one less card to draw next turn. So they're more likely to draw what they need. Rising Road activates. Solgaleo rushes to the front and is going to knock down Formosa. With Soul Breaker! Whoa. You should... I normally keep the sound off, but the sound effect for Soul Breaker is awesome. It's like... I can't make it, but it's like the sound of a sword, like just slicing through armor. It is very cool. I bet all metal type attacks have that sound, but it's really cool all the same. Okay, if they have Lusamine, we're probably just going to see energy on Formosa, Celesteela cycle. Formosa comes in, damages the back Morlul and the front Solgaleo. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. That's the move. That's the move. And it also means they have Lusamine. So, if Squad Zero can play Mars, that would be great. But they probably won't draw Mars. The thing is, this isn't going to do enough damage, though. That's the ticket. This is not going to do enough damage. Yes, it will. I take that back. It will do enough damage. Because Solgaleo's own recoil will put it into range. Yeah, this will do enough damage. Okay. If you're Squad Zero right now, you really want Lily, or... that wasn't what you wanted. Yeah, that wasn't what you wanted. Alright, second mushroom. Second mushroom. You get to illuminate again. Get some more draw in there. Which they absolutely should do. Well, illuminate first. What are you doing? Well, actually, if you illuminate second, then you could... It's a tough call. It's a tough call, actually. But I think if you're trying to Iona something specifically, you illuminate first. That way you cycle 2 cards. I think it's just better. And maybe also mess with their Lusamine if you're lucky. Okay, a little bit of a choice here for Squad Zero. If they attack and the enemy does have Lusamine, you probably lose. They decided not to attack. The enemy has too many cards. They figure they have Lusamine. They're just going to let the attack happen. Give them time to play Lily. Give them time to get a Rare Candy Solgaleo. I hear applause in the Discord. I don't know why. I don't know why I hear applause. Probably that Iono play, maybe someone suggested that and it ended up working and giving them Lily, so they're happy. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was it. It's weird. I can hear applause, but I none of the conversation, so I don't know what happened. But I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Maybe they'll let me know later if I'm right about that. There's the Lusamine. They played it early. That's probably a good idea because you don't want to get Mars'd out of it, and you know 1 energy is enough for right now. Yeah, the correct move here is to attack the Cosmog and the Solgaleo together to weaken them both so that you can get Buzzhole to be able to knock out both of them. That's sort of the play. Also, Cyrus is very good in the Formosa deck. Not? What? What? It attacked the wrong one! Nah, you gotta go for the Cosmog so that you could Cyrus it in and delete the second Solgaleo so that it can't retreat cycle in case you don't have Cyrus. Obviously. Yeah, no, I think it would have been better to attack the Cosmog there, but it doesn't really matter that much because that's an edge case that probably won't happen. Alright, Solgaleo attacks, thanks to the Lily, which Squad Zero very cleverly used Illuminate plus Iono to draw. And that was only possible because of the mushrooms, by the way. If the mushrooms didn't exist, they never would have been able to pull that off. The mushrooms generated extra cards, extra draw to make the Lily happen, which saved their Solgaleo so that it can survive Buzzhole. Critical. Super critical. More super critical than a fluid. With incredible properties. Not every fluid is super critical. More super critical than that Voltorb that May is disassembling in that one meme. Don't ask me what it means. One person maybe will get that joke and be like, oh. Yeah, so it's a little tricky here. It's a little tricky. If they can play Cyrus, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, now I see why they were going for that instead of the Cosmog, because I'm not sure. I still think targeting the Cosmog would be better, but I see what Fujiyama's idea is now. Their idea was that they had planned on Cyrusing the mushroom, so they only needed to take out one Solgaleo. But they could have done that anyway. They could have done that anyway. This way does let them split the energy, though. But I'm not sure if that matters. I don't know if splitting the energy really... Oh, they're trying to pull a second Lusamine. Whoa, Fujiyama, big brain. Fujiyama, big brain. They're trying to pull a second Lusamine so that they can cycle Buzzholes to get one extra turn of attacking in. That's smart. That's smart. If they have Lusamine right now, they can pull in their full health Buzzhole, have that attack, and then Cyrus next turn to win the game. That's why they went for the mushroom. So that they could take it out with Punch, so that they could split the energy like this. Brilliant! That's legit genius! That's legitimately genius. Fujiyama, with the big brain place. Oh my god, how far ahead did they have to think to pull that off? On the one hand, yeah, play Mars. Oh my freaking goodness, play Mars. You have to play Mars. You've got to stop the Cyrus. You got to stop that Cyrus. Yeah. Yeah, no. That Cyrus cannot happen. That Cyrus cannot be allowed. Alright. Squad Zero with the counterplay. They're trying to stop Fujiyama's brilliant strategy. Oh my goodness, they got it right in range of Punch to take it out with Punch so that they didn't have to put extra energy on the Buzzhole so that they could Lusamine one more energy on either Buzzhole. That was insane! Fujiyama! That was the most brilliant play I have seen all set. Fujiyama's crazy good. Crazy good. If I clip anything from these sets, I'm clipping that. That was... And they still got it! The Mars was not enough, they still got the Cyrus. That's GG! That's GG. Fujiyama takes it. Fujiyama takes the game, tying the score with one of the most brilliant maneuvers I have ever seen. Making a target of the Shiinotic to take it out with Punch. Whoa! Well played. And that's Donut going down. It's all tied up. It's anybody's game now. Hibinto takes game 16. Oh my goodness. I need a minute. That was such a good game. Obviously, I'm sad Squad Zero lost, but Fujiyama was incredible. Fujiyama was so good. 本当にすごいよ. That was amazing. すげえ. I wish I knew more words for amazing in Japanese other than just very slang anime terms, but oh my goodness, that was freaking awesome. Fujiyama was incredible. That play will stick with me. I didn't think there was anything left in the Buzzhole deck. I didn't think there were any more plays you could make with that deck. But that play was so crisp. I thought they were wrong to attack the Cosmog. Only because I didn't see as far ahead as they did. I was like, it's an edge case, it probably doesn't matter, but if you do, you snipe. But I didn't understand. They wanted to snipe it with the 2 energy attack, not the 3 energy attack. This was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I can't get over this play. I don't think I'm going to have time for this today, but I got to just edit this play into its own video. That was the coolest play I have ever seen in Pokemon Pocket. That was insane. That was legitimately insane. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. The score is tied. There are only 2 players left on each team. This is it. Only one can survive. Only one team can win. Donut has been defeated by Hibinto. So, who is the final player? And it's just Samuel. Just Samuel from Squad Zero will be playing. Wait. With an Arikario deck? Why didn't you bring that in against the Charizard? Where was this deck while the Charizards were happening? You should have... You had an Arikario the whole time? Where was this during all of the Charizards, all of the Darkness Dragon of Flame memes? Hello? Am I hallucinating? Why am I only seeing this now? Squad Zero, yo! What? Why? What? Okay, well, Squad Zero decided to hold their single Arikario in reserve for this moment. We will see if the decision was in fact justified. We will find out. Oh my goodness. They've got some interesting cards in hand, but it's not as good as it looks. Without a Magnemite, those other cards are dead cards. Without Magnemite, those cards are useless. You can't even play them. They can't do anything. Nope. It all comes down to this. Only one of these players can survive. Only one of them can go forward. Fujiyama is taking all of the time on their clock to figure out what basic to put forward. When would you ever have a decision? They must not have Celesteela! That's probably what's going on. They see the Arikario, they're freaking out, and they're trying to figure out what their win con is. Because they're not running Kartana! Because they're not running Kartana, they can only attack it with Formosa, but there's a Shaman on the field. Yeah, Celesteela is their win con. The only way they win... Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. The only way that Fujiyama can win is if Celesteela can use Moonbaton to take out Arikario. That is the only thing that can take it out. Formosa doesn't do enough damage. Shaman will just heal it all. It's gotta be Celesteela. They're probably taking time to think about their strategy, and they've come to the conclusion that Celesteela absolutely has to be the win here. Problem is, Celesteela takes super effective damage from Electric. I've been waiting all set all set for Squad Zero to bring in Oricorio, and finally we get to see it. They got the Magnemite. They got their setup. The play is very clear here. You put energy on your Oricorio. You don't bother retreating it right now. Yeah, put the cards on there. Make the move. There's nothing fancy going on. Easy for me to say. They should think of all the possibilities. That's the right thing to do. Playing recklessly in this critical game would be very foolish. You're probably thinking, oh, do we want to hold Magnemite in hand? Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do want to hold it in their hand. What am I saying? I'm being dumb. Because they want to play another Oricorio. They want to leave room on the bench for a second Oricorio. And they don't need that Magnemite online right now. Yeah. Yeah. You see? Don't rush. Don't rush. This is honestly why I drop games in ranked. This is why I drop games in ranked. Because I rush. You know? Squad Zero doesn't rush. They take their time. They make good moves. There's the energy onto the Celesteela. Called it. And they're going to retreat into something else, probably Formosa. Yeah, to tank. Because they don't want Celesteela to take damage. Because that's their win con. It's a very funny situation, but they can only win. They can only win if Celesteela stays alive and is able to use Moonbaton successfully. It's a crazy win condition. Because Moonbaton only hits 50% of the time. You need 3 energy. But that's what they have to play for. Now the question here is, do you attack with Oricorio or not? I think the answer is you do. You know, if Celesteela can't attack you this turn, get some early damage onto Formosa. What I'm wondering is if they're going to let Formosa go down, or if they're going to switch into Buzzhole and risk letting Buzzhole take a hit. Because risking damage on Buzzhole is scary. If Squad Zero has a Cyrus, you're done. But then again, you might be able to Erica it. But then again, why don't you just Erica Formosa, right? Yeah. There's the Erica. Yeah, we see them hovering over Magnezone. We know what's going to happen next turn. We know what's going to happen next turn. Energy, evolve. Maybe evolve first, then energy. Nope, energy first. I was right. They tricked me with a little arrow movement there. There's the evolve. Here's the retreat. Magnezone is going to come in, wipe Formosa off the map. Cape wouldn't matter here. They realize that, decide not to play a Cape. And Formosa goes down. Now, Magnezone can one-shot Celesteela unless it is wearing a Giant's Cape. Giant's Cape is the only thing that can save the Celesteela. And I know, we've seen it from Fujiyama, they do like to run hybrid Giant's Cape in their Buzzhole decks. So they might have it. But either way, the energy is on the wrong Pokemon to be fighting Magnezone. You want Buzzhole to fight Magnezone, you want Celesteela to fight Oricorio, but they didn't really have a choice. There was nothing Fujiyama could do to predict the early Magnezone. After all, the last time Squad Zero played Magnezone, they were bricked on it. It took half the game for Magnezone to come out. But this time, they got it boom, boom right away. So, you know, Fujiyama's playing well. They're just very hard countered by this Oricorio. Another Formosa comes out, but I mean, yeah, Formosa doesn't really do anything. They got it, though! Alright, Fujiyama goes for the Moonbaton. 100 damage to Magnezone, but Magnezone will be taking out the Celesteela. Now, this creates a bit of a weird interaction. In order for Fujiyama to win, they do still have a win con. Still possible. In order for Fujiyama to win, what they need is a second Celesteela and a Lusamine. They need both of those things. a second Celesteela, and a Lusamine. And then they need Moonbaton to work again. And again. There's a lot of coin flips, a lot of getting the right draws, but it is possible. It is possible for Fujiyama to win. And they are playing correctly. They are playing for that slim chance, that one win condition. It's super effective. Celesteela is wiped out by the Mighty Magnet. Samuel from Squad Zero is doing an amazing job. And the use of Buzzhole means that they're stalling. Basically. Or they're going to try to win with Buzzhole. Maybe they have Lusamine but not Celesteela, so they're going to put the energy on Buzzhole, take out Magnezone, and then try to tank the Oricorio. Yeah, that's what's happening. They either didn't have Celesteela, and it's not on the field, so I'm guessing they didn't have it, or decided that Buzzhole was the better play, but I'm pretty sure they just didn't have it. Because a Celesteela would have been a 1 out of 4 chance to win the game. Right here. It would have been a 1 out of 4 chance to win the game, no question. This is a I hope you don't have a second Oricorio or I lose chance to win the game. It's so incredibly awkward, because let's pretend that they didn't have a second Oricorio. They do, but let's pretend they didn't. Buzzhole can't retreat, because it doesn't have Celesteela, right? So it would have to dump energy to retreat, give energy to Formosa, have Formosa poke the backline to try to generate a Cyrus target for an eventual Buzzhole. It would be awkward. It would be very awkward, and with Shaman healing everything, it would be hard to pull off. But they do have the second Oricorio, so it's a moot point. We could still see, potentially, that Formosa tech thing happen, but now it's not possible because of Magnezone. If Magnezone were not live, I'm describing all of these possible futures as the present is unraveling them and narrowing them down to only one possibility, in which Squad Zero wins. But this is what we have to do as Fujiyama. When did I become Fujiyama? I thought I was on Squad Zero. I wear a lot of hats. Now I'm on Fujiyama's side. Alright, so I don't see how Fujiyama wins now. We discussed possibilities, but I think they're out of possibilities. That Celesteela will not get energy in time. Magneton is coming online. It'll have enough damage to knock out anything except Buzzhole, really. But Buzzhole can't push through a Oricorio. So it switches to the other Buzzhole to tank the hit. Really? Maybe that's the right move, actually. Maybe that's the right move, because this could generate a target. Yeah, this generates a Cyrus target on the Magnezone. Now Squad Zero has to waste Magnezone, taking out Formosa. With Cape, it should be able to survive Buzzhole, though. Heal it first and put a Cape on it! No! What are you doing? Why? Why would you do that? Oh, because you win the game. I'm an idiot. I lost count of how many prize points they had. Oh, my heart. They win. It's all good. It's all good. I'm the dummy. Oh. Yeah, they had enough prize points. Oh, all right. We're good. Oh, I've been spectating this for a while. Okay. Squad Zero takes the win. Fujiyama, incredible counterplay. They were fighting for their win con the entire time. Squad Zero needs one more win to take it all. Squad Zero needs just one more win to take it all. But Fujiyama could still take it if they win the next 2 games in a row. Game 17 goes to Samuel. Or Samuele. And this is it. There's literally only one deck Fujiyama can play. If they're not immediately queued up, okay, yep. This is it. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. Squad Zero is at game point. Fujiyama is at semi game point. If Squad Zero wins, it's over. If Fujiyama wins, we have a very exciting 9-9. Well, that's an opening. No Pokeballs and no Oaks. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for Squad Zero. I wonder what energy they've got. I'm trying to like see through the text there. Maybe we squint, we can see through it. Just got a sneak peek of their energy because I'm impatient. What energy you got there? Fighting energy, probably a Silvally deck. I'm gonna guess. Yeah, Silvally stomps Rikurio's face. We could end up in a 9-9 situation. Oh my goodness, we could end up in a 9-9. It could come down to that. Silvally is very good against Magnezone. It's Silvally. And Silvally's going second. This is devastating. This is as bad as it could be for Squad Zero. This is a deck that is probably going to win this game and has a very good chance of winning the next game. Silvally is not what you want to be fighting right now. It is not. Yeah, Ricurio is useless. Ricurio is completely useless. Shaman's heals don't matter. Rampardos is going to one-shot anything except a fully caped Magnezone. And there's no bench damage. So sacrificing the Shaman and not playing a Ricurio is absolutely the right move. You've got to get double Magnezone. This is an uphill battle. This is an uphill battle for Squad Zero. And Type Null gets heads, adding insult to injury. If it had been Tails, Shaman could have guaranteed it would survive another Type Null attack, but that's not possible now. Squad Zero drawing Pokeballs, not the Professor Oaks that they need. Further giving them useless birds. Yeah, might as well play it. They're probably going to make that decision in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Darn it. Okay, I was off by at least another 5 seconds. This is tough for Squad Zero. I think we're going to see 9-9. I think we're going to see 9-9. I think it's going to come down to literally the last possible game. You get good games on this channel. What can I say? You get the best of the global gym battles here. Squad Zero never disappoints. And Fujiyama is amazing. Alright, Shaman is just going to retreat cycle. Just try to stall. Of course, it won't stall at all if it's Silvally, but, you know, hoping. Just hoping. They're playing for their win con. Yeah, that's Silvally. 2 out of 3 chance. That's going to be the end of a Ricurio. And yeah, it is no longer possible for Squad Zero to win unless Fujiyama spills coffee on their phone. That's game. That's game. Hibinto's got this locked. Magnemite is guaranteed to go down unless they just don't have a supporter and choose not to retreat and attack with Rampardos for some reason. They have no hope of getting Magnezone anytime soon. There is no... You can't. It's game. It's over. I can't. I wonder what deck Squad Zero will use next in the exciting 9-9 final possible game that we're going to be getting as soon as Squad Zero surrenders, which I hope they do soon, because we all know this is over. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. This is done. The next game is going to be super exciting. The next game is going to be 9-9. Next game wins. It'll be incredibly exciting. But this is like the broccoli you have to eat before the cake. Next game is cake. This game is broccoli. It's good for you because magnets are crunchy and they have high in iron. I don't know. Seriously, I have no idea why they're thinking. You win. Just win. Retreat into ramp. Okay, sure. It literally doesn't matter. But I get it. You know, from Fujiyama's perspective, they want to be very safe about it. They want to do the best possible move. Using Cyrus is the best possible move. Because Silvally can finish it off. Rampardos is safe in the back. The only thing that could even slow you down is a Sabrina. And you're not even worried about that. You just go into Rampardos and destroy whatever Sabrina do. Unless it's a Rare Candy Magnezone. And that would be the only thing you could possibly be afraid of. Would be a Rare Candy Magnezone into your... But even then, you still win because you got the Silvally in the back. It doesn't matter. Squad Zero is just trolling. And making it very difficult for me to cast them. You know... This is where people drop off the stream when you pull stuff like that. You've lost. Surrender. I'm sorry. No. You know, it's a very serious game. If they think they have a chance of winning, they don't. But if they think they have a chance of winning, they should keep playing. Okay, yes, finally. Frick. that game was over for the past, I don't know how many turns. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you can't win that. You can't win. And... we see why Squad Zero was not running that many Arikarios, right? That's the reason. Because it just gets... It just gets them... No. Not Buzzhole! Hold on. Let me update the scoreboard real quick. It's 9-9. It's 9-9, and it all comes down to this. This is the last possible game. There are no more games. One team will win. It's either Squad Zero or Fujiyama. That's it. Okay, Celestial Oak start with Lusamine. That's not great. It's not bad. You really, really want some kind of basic... It looks like... it looks like Squad Zero's going first. Into Silvally. That's not good. That's not good for Squad Zero. It's not good at all for Squad Zero. Fujiyama has had an incredible comeback train, and they earned it. They earned it, I think, in two major places. First, when that Sabrina misplay happened with Squad Zero, right? If that hadn't happened, we might be looking at a very different game. And the second, when they made that incredible Lusamine play. With the partially power Buzzhole. If you can hear my voice slowly dying. But I will continue. I will soldier on because this is the last game. Red card. Why would you... Red card! Why do you have it in your deck? Okay, admittedly, maybe it makes sense to save it for like a delayed Gladion situation. That could be what they're doing. Yeah, no, I see that. Because if they play Gladion this turn, which Silvally decks really like to do, they're probably going to draw Silvally that they can't evolve right now. And then that card could get stuck in their hand, and then you red card, and it's a better red card. It gives them drawdown, though. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's some weird math with red card in this situation, but Squad Zero might have made the right move here. Squad Zero might have made the right move here. The enemy is delaying their attack. Some Silvally decks run Cyrus, some don't. This attack might matter, or it might do nothing at all. They got the Fossil. Yeah, Fossil's not good. Fossil is not looking too good. The Fossil is the hardest card to draw. Testa. Yeah, Testa. Italian for head. The oak was well needed, but it just pulled an... They're bricked. They're bricked. Not like this. Not like this. Honestly, it's too late for red card. They got the Fossil. You're just going to give them oak now. Don't play it now. Nah, it might make sense now, because if they can't play anything, what do they have, right? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I would have liked to have seen it turn 1, but it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. That Fossil is deadly, though. They might not find the rare candy. Rare candies are famous for being buried in the bottom of your deck. That's happened to me with Silvally. It's happened to me, but you really don't want to be in this situation right now. To be in a situation where... Do you really want to split energy when you have Lusamine? Well, you have 2 Lusamines, so I guess it's fine, but still... I would have liked the first Celesteela to stay in, because if they get the Silvally evolution, which is less likely on this turn, they do KO you, yes, but it's less likely on this turn, and it's more likely next turn, and now you're giving them the chance to put both Celesteelas in knockout range for Silvally, so I would have kept the 80 health one in, especially because you have double Lusamine, but, you know. It's a valid move, and it worked out. It worked out. They did get the Silvally, and so they do get to preserve a poke for an extra turn. So Squad Zero's decision was better, apparently. I don't know. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Silvally is favored. I don't care what's happening in the Ursi day. Silvally is favored. And I think the reason that maybe Buzzhole is doing a little better in the Ursi day is because the people who are playing Buzzhole know what they're doing, and the people who are playing Silvally don't. Bit harsh, but Silvally is a very easy deck to play, and a lot of people, including myself, were shouting about how good it was. Buzzhole you only knew was good if you're like watching the Japanese streamers, if you were playing ranked, you know. Buzzhole wasn't a deck you could just mindlessly put together or just copy and know how to play right away. So I think that the people who are playing the Buzzhole decks are just better. It's a very general statement. There's some fantastic players playing Silvally, and I think Silvally is favored. I could be wrong. I think Silvally is favored in this matchup. But, yeah. This is hard. This is hard. This is a little bit difficult to watch because Squad Zero is bricked. There's nothing they can do. A Leaf Cape won't help against... There's just nothing they can do. They just have to hope that Fujiyama doesn't have a supporter card here. Well, either way, this is the final battle. So I'm gonna narrate this with gusto. Alright, because either way this is exciting, even if Squad Zero might not win. Alright, so Fujiyama's already taken some massive lead in this game. They got the Fossil, you know, they're playing their Gladion. They've got Silvally very active with a supporter card, which means Formosa's going to go down. It's entirely possible that Squad Zero can pull off a crazy Moombahton win here. In fact, that might be their only hope. They've got Lusamine in hand. We could potentially see Moombahton take out a Silvally. But it's a little tricky. They're going to have to ignore the Fossil. It hurts to ignore a Fossil you could Cyrus in and potentially attack. But Silvally is the bigger threat because Cranidos is imaginary until it's real. right? Rampardos is imaginary. Until it's on the field, it's not real, and that Silvally has got to go. So after Fujiyama decides to destroy this Formosa with that Silvally, which is probably what they're going to do, there's a weird thing where they Cyrus and discard their own fossil. They put a cape on the fossil. That's hilarious. All right, so Formosa goes down. That's 1 prize point for Fujiyama. Celesteela comes in, and we're probably going to see Lusamine Moombahton here. Buzzhole's a little late. Buzzhole's a little late. The correct answer is still Moombahton. You can try to play around the Cyrus, but Buzzhole can't attack this turn. You have to get rid of that Silvally. I think the correct answer is Lusamine. Moombahton. Hope you get heads. Then Buzzhole is your cleanup sweeper, and you can Lusamine after the Celesteela goes down. That's what I would do. They're thinking about it. They're discussing it. You can tell from the communication wiggling. Lusamine first. It doesn't matter, but I still would have played Lusamine first in case you were wrong. I feel like someone said what I did, and that's why they showed the discard pile. Like, come on, it doesn't matter. But just you know, just in case. You don't want to risk that. Okay. Game-deciding Moombahton. Potentially. Potentially. Heads. Head. Oh. They didn't get it. Squad Zero did not get that critical coin flip. They just didn't get it. Silvally will almost certainly take out Celesteela next turn. It might not. They might not have a supporter. But the odds of them not having a supporter or Rampardos are... Yeah, Rampardos. That's not good. That's not good. I actually don't know whether Fujiyama wants to defeat Celesteela or not. It's a tough call. Because if they do, then Buzzhole can potentially Alpha Strike Rampardos. And the cape! Oh my goodness, because of the cape, Buzzhole can't one-shot the Rampardos even though it took 20 damage. That matters a lot. Oh my goodness. That Buzzhole just came in a little bit too late. If it was just a turn sooner. Actually, a turn sooner might not have mattered because Rampardos was online. But yeah, Fujiyama's thinking about this. They evolved their second Silvally, which means future Gladians will not be able to be played. They didn't have a supporter! Oh, that's huge! They didn't have it! They didn't have it! Okay. Okay, what does Squad Zero do here? Option 1. Moombahton Silvally. Try to sweep with Buzzhole. I don't know if that's actually possible. Legitimately, I'm not sure if that's possible, because you need to hit Rampardos twice. Yeah, they're thinking about it, but honestly, I don't know the math works out either way. Even if you Moombahton Rampardos successfully, it would KO itself, defeating Celesteela! Yo! Oh, this is big brain! This is big brain! But they gotta get heads this time. They gotta get heads this time. They got tails last time. Yes! Yes! Okay, this is so big brain. Because it doesn't have any energy on it. It can't retreat. It can't retreat. It can only attack. And if it attacks, it knocks itself out. Huge! Oh, that's so smart. I completely forgot about that. I was like, the math doesn't work. But it does! It does if you do this! It does if you do this! Let's go, Squad Zero! Oh, okay. Yeah, assuming there's nothing they can do, and I don't think there's anything they could do, Rampardos has to attack here. If Rampardos attacks, it defeats itself. That's 1 prize point apiece. If Fujiyama doesn't carry a Cyrus in the Silvally deck, some do, some don't. I'm not sure. It's a weird card to put in your Silvally deck. Many Silvally decks don't run it. Some do run it. I don't know if they're running it. But if they're not running Cyrus, and from the way they're hesitating, I don't think they are, they're not sure what to do here. Because Punch will knock out Rampardos. Yeah, they do it. They go down. Rampardos takes it takes itself out because of the Moonbaton. And Buzzhole can one-shot every remaining Pokemon. It'll have enough energy with the other Lusamine. Squad Zero is in a winning position unless they have Cyrus. How many cards? The one card left. Only one card in, I guess it doesn't matter if you play that or not. Only one card left in Fujiyama's hand. This is it. This is game point. Squad Zero was so cute, big brain with that Cyrus. I completely forgot that Rampardos' recoil would be just enough to take it out. That's the only way they could have won. That's the only way they would have been able to attack enough times. And this gives momentum, big beat to Buzzhole. And actually, I'm realizing Fujiyama made a mistake. They shouldn't have attacked. They shouldn't have attacked, perhaps, with Rampardos. It's tricky. It's tricky. I'm not sure, actually. Because then Moonbaton could have happened again, potentially taking out the Rampardos. So it might not have mattered. That might not have mattered. It doesn't matter. Squad Zero with the brilliant play. They're in a winning spot unless Cyrus is played. No! They had Cyrus! They top-decked Cyrus! With 8 cards! They had 9 cards! What? Fujiyama, with the incredible top deck, takes the game. And honestly, I feel like they earned it. There was that misplay on behalf of Squad Zero, and Fujiyama had that incredible play earlier with the Lusamines. This was incredibly close. This was incredibly close. And Squad Zero was lucky in a lot of those early Charizard, aka the Dark Dragon of Flame decks. I can't say Fujiyama didn't earn it. Fujiyama played very well, and I think they did deserve that win. But as always, incredible games by Squad Zero. They made very few mistakes. Most of the time I was saying I think they messed up. They didn't mess up. But they did make a couple more than usual this time, I think. Great games, though. Incredible play overall. That final gambit on the Rampardo should have worked. It should have worked. The top deck Cyrus. Oh. Well played to Fujiyama. Hibinto taking it home. Let me just give them that Game 19 update. Well played. I hope you enjoyed these games as much as I did. These games were nuts. It stinks to see Squad Zero lose, but Fujiyama is an amazing team. Really well done by them. Fantastically done. I've got to say that these are two incredible teams. And one of them did have to lose in the end. And Fujiyama, I think, made a play that shook me to my core. We're clipping that. We're making a video just analyzing that play. I don't know when I'm going to have time for that. I got a lot to do. But we're making a video just analyzing that play because it was so good. It was so good. All right, let's check the chat real quick, just see if anybody's been saying anything that I should answer here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you guys are still in that moment in time. It hasn't happened yet for you. I'm not gonna type anything. I'm not gonna type anything. All right, it doesn't look like there are any questions. It doesn't look like there are any questions. iSalad, it's been crazy having you on. Thanks for stopping by. Mobes, Toby, it's been really cool. Carp. Let's see. A Dumpster. Yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping on. I hope you had a lot of fun. This was a wild set. Squad Zero is always so fun to spectate. Alright, since I'm spectating Squad Zero and the Italian Psyducks, I'm gonna have to talk to them because I don't think I could do both every week. and the PLL every other week, my voice is gonna die. Um, just so you know, some of these streams may be moved to Twitch. Probably PLL. Probably PLL. I think I'll still do the Squad Zero stuff on YouTube, but more of my streams are gonna move to Twitch because I just want to do mostly videos on YouTube and an occasional stream. But yeah, we'll still be doing the Squad Zero Global Gym Battles on YouTube and Twitch. I'll catch everybody later. This was wild. I had a lot of fun. It's time to get a bite to eat. Gotta keep streaming because YouTube is still there. Yeah. YouTube delay problems. Boop-a-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo.